D. Second.
All the meeting in order, please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Sorry.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have a presentation from Justin Moore.
Oh, thank you.
One
Would you like me?
department.
Is it, should I stand or sitting? What place am I?
You're already in the middle.
Thank you for this opportunity to come before you this evening. I had the pleasure of meeting Mayor Patterson on President's Day. He's a hard-working man there on President's Day. Just to talk about the Area Office on Aging has built and has owned West Haven Senior Apartments for about the last 35 years. When we built it, we continue to invest in it, reinvest in it. So we refinanced it about 8-9 years ago to take care of needed repairs and their alike. And that when that amount that we refinanced was not enough to take care of all the urgent repairs, the Area Office on Aging gave a $300,000 loan to West Haven to take care of the additional repairs. We have not requested any repayment of that loan and the like from West Haven Senior Apartments, but we own that. We continue to reinvest in it. It's a provided home for about 50 older adults on a regular basis that's affordable. We do our best to make it as nice of a place for them to live as possible. A lot of what the Area Office on Aging is about is helping older adults age in place in their own home, in the community, and that's really hard for people to do if they don't have a safe, affordable, and accessible place to call home. And we believe that not only is it important for it to be safe, accessible, and affordable, but also a beautiful place, right? Like we enjoy being able to have a sense of pride of our home, and the place we call home. The same is true for the older adults that are living there. So we really do what we can to make it as nice of a place as possible for them to live. After I met with you, Mayor Patterson, I went there and was walking around outside the building, what we can do better to upkeep it. And I met Jeannie, your aunt there, and we got the pleasure talking to her for a while too, and hearing some opportunities for us to do better, right? Even better and make it a better place. So that's what we're all about. The senior center that Wood County Community on Aging operated for several decades there, moved out. They were having struggle trying to find a staff person for several years before COVID. Then COVID hit. Then we unfortunately had a pipe burst in that space, and they moved out to the church then at that point in time. We work very closely with Wood County Community on Aging, so no hard feelings about that. They're doing a good job, it sounds like, at the church. But that really caused us to look at what could be done with that space that would be impactful in the community, and the idea of a health clinic came up as an area that would be a good opportunity for people to have access to a primary care physician, and so on and so forth. So we've been in conversations with Wood County Health Clinics about them operating a health clinic out of that space. It does require some significant renovations to turn it from a senior center into a health clinic. We've had some conversations with Congressman Latta's office about the potential of some federal funds that could come to help with those renovations. Those dollars have to go to a governmental entity, though. They cannot come to a nonprofit like the Area Office on Aging. So the basic ask is, would the Village of North Baltimore be willing to be the sponsor of that request for those dollars to Congressman Latta's office? And basically, we would do everything we can to make that as easy of a process for the Village of North Baltimore as possible, right? Filling out all the paperwork, doing all the reporting, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, we cannot be the recipients of those dollars directly. It has to go to another governmental entity like the Village of North Baltimore.
Does that almost seem like that would almost be like, I know it's a grant versus income tax revenue, but is that like something similar to what we do with the JED? We receive those and then disperse them on behalf, or is it something totally different?
Yeah, I would consider it different.
Totally
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not a huge process. There's basically an application form that needs to be filled out. We have all the kind of text that could be copied and pasted in that form and for you to submit. And then when it comes to reporting and the like, we are used to reporting to different government funders all day, every day kind of deal. So we would make that process as easy as possible for you. So that's a basic ask. If the history is important to you, at the time that we built that facility, we applied for United States Housing Urban Development, or HUD funding, to build that and make it affordable for the residents. And during that process, HUD said, we do not build housing that has a senior center attached to it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to approve it. At that point in time, my predecessor, Mrs. Billy Johnson, reached out to Congressman Latta's dad, who was Congressman at the time, Congressman Delbert Latta, and said, is there any way you could run interference there with HUD in DC and get them to approve it? And he did, and they did, right? So this is an opportunity for Congressman Latta to carry on kind of that work that his dad started, to have the importance of having some services be provided right adjacent or connected to that senior housing space.
Are you just requesting that we would almost be like a liaison type?
Correct.
Just till this is up and running, and then we have nothing to do, right?
Right.
Because we certainly wouldn't want something to do with helping, helping run the facility.
Correct. So Lindsay at Wood County Health Clinics is the one that is going to operate the health
Did
clinic.
we meet her? Did we meet Lindsay? Or was that somebody else?
But I mean, I think maybe a video call between you, me,
That'd be great.
and Congressman
Yeah.
Latta's office.
We'd love that.
I spoke some details would be great.
Yeah,
Let
we'd love
them know
that.
about eligibility and make sure that it's not too much of a burden on our office.
Sure.
It's being a basic pass-through, I guess you could say.
Right.
But I know that West Haven is R3 zoned,
Mhm.
and any health clinic will go through our Board of Zoning Appeals,
Understood.
part of the conditional use approval process. So that would still be an unknown. I mean, you probably
Sure.
get funding, we still go through all this, but I mean, going by there, I don't see any concern. I actually haven't seen what you plan to do, like sketched out on paper, any additions. I'm assuming you're going to put additions on that building.
So no, the plan is to operate within the existing kind of four walls of that
The
former
existing?
senior center space, correct, yes.
So far, I don't see any issue with that.
Okay.
You already have kind of amount of parking already there.
Correct.
But again, the Board of Zoning Appeal would have to
Understood.
look at it a little bit closer.
Mr. Moore, when you say clinic, what does that mean?
So when you go to a primary care physician appointment, very similar to that, if individuals also wanted to have behavioral health being provided out there, so like going to a counselor kind of thing, that could also be a service that's provided out of there. So the basic thought is right now, according to Wood County Health Clinic, there's about 200 individuals from North Baltimore that are going to BG for those types of primary care services like. So the basic thought is to have it here instead of having to transfer.
So,
get transportation.
that makes a lot of sense, because we actually had somebody come and address us about that very issue a year and a half ago, and had to say that they didn't know where to put it, so this would almost be, I mean, the request has already been made, they just didn't know how to build it or where to put it. So, are you working in conjunction with that group?
Wood County Health Department.
Mr. Robinson, Ben Robinson,
Oh, yes.
Wood County Health Commissioner, is on our board. We've been in close communications with him about this. And then
Okay.
Lindsay is who he really has identified as a point person for the Wood County Health Clinics to actually operate the health clinic.
I thought it was
Oh.
Lindsay that addressed us.
I think you're right.
I'm
Yes,
almost
yes,
positive
it was, yes.
Lindsay, and then they talked about, so, yeah. And make sure, if you guys coordinate that, make sure Matt's in that.
Yeah, sure.
On that call also. So would that be okay if
That'd be excellent.
coordinate a call with
Yeah.
Mr. Latta to make sure that we
Would
do
love that.
understand everything that we're.
David Wirt in Congressman Latta's office
I'm
is
aware.
who we've been working with on that. He did say for the actual process of the funding, there's a contact in the DC office of Congressman Latta's office that he's asking us to kind of, he wants to hand it off to them basically. So we can start off with David Wirt, and then if he thinks it makes sense
Quick
to.
call, video call, I mean, and we have to work pretty fast. I think they're expecting submissions within like
Correct.
a week or two.
Correct.
Does anybody up here have any concerns with it, or other than what, I mean, is it some, I mean, I'd hate to have them released, I mean, obviously, we have to get the terms and conditions of everything before everybody here makes a decision, but at least nobody has any heartburn with starting the process and seeing exactly what they're.
How many clinics do you have in Wood County?
So, I'm sorry, I don't know the details. I work for the Area Health and Aging.
Yeah.
We cover 10 counties in Northwest Ohio, including Wood County being one. The Wood County Health Clinics is a separate organization.
Okay.
They're the ones that operate the clinics. I don't know as much about their organizations that I could or should.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry, I don't want to guesstimate on that because I don't know the answer. I can look it up though and get back to you.
May I ask how large the area is that you're going to dedicate to this?
Yeah, so roughly about 1,000 square feet. It's not a huge space, but the space that the senior center was in before, the plan is to try to just convert that space. There was some conversations about the health clinic also about offering dental, and that got to be an addition kind of to the building would be necessary for that. It'd have to be higher ceilings and all kinds of stuff. So that'd be a much more expensive kind of phase 2 potential down the road that would, you know, we're not prepared to talk in detail about that at this point in time. Now the primary focus is just on that primary care kind of visits and behavioral health.
So how much you want to be requesting from Letta's office?
$900,000.
So you have
And
some-
the goal is to try to keep all that building, you know, we have a local preference. So if there's, you know, a builder here locally that could do that work, that's our preference, to have it done here locally.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Moore? All right, we appreciate you coming in and sharing.
So Josh, you'll be in touch?
Yeah, we'll be in
I'll
touch.
talk to
Yep.
them.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Send
Thanks
an
for
email.
taking the time to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Send me an email, we'll go from there.
I will. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to public safety. Tim?
So I was hoping the police department would be here, but basically dispatch transition is going on tonight at midnight to Wood County Dispatch. Intac, the Sheriff's Department, and our officers have been hard at work for today, but especially today, getting everything situated, the software ready, talking to the dispatch, making sure the radios are going to be ready, and I think we're in a good place at this time. I mean, there's going to be some headaches, some growing pains in this whole process, because that's so many things going on. I mean, this week, new police chief, we're switching over our RMS and CAD software. We're going forward with Axon installations in our cars and elsewhere, the new body cameras, and we're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's a big week for our police department,
Did they get the
transformational. Say again?
The repeaters? Did those take
I just wrote that
Also
down.
that, yes.
I just wrote that down if you want to
Yes.
touch base on that.
Okay.
Are you ready to have that?
Well, they're on public safety. I just wanted to know if we got those, because I know that was a
Yeah,
big
I haven't gotten the
concern.
green light to
Don't
pay
have-
yet, the invoice, but I know they were over today, working on it more.
Is Bruce here?
I think it was Bruce.
Okay, so let me just tell you where
Someone
I'm.
from Railgun.
So I stopped by, they said Bruce was here, the guy that was supposed to have everything. I mean, we've been back and forth. He was over next door. I went over to talk to him. He said, it's good. We've tested it. Everything's good. I asked the police department, and they said, yep, we tested it. Everything's good. Well, I asked the other day, and we are having problems again. So I don't know. It's very, very disappointed. And let me just say, to even get them here to do anything was like pulling teeth. And then when he did, you know, and I look, they're busy. I'm not, please don't think that I'm, but we've been at this for a long time.
Right.
And this is a serious safety issue. So, the chief said, I talked to him yesterday morning at 6 a.m. I think yesterday morning, yesterday morning at 6 a.m. And he said he was gonna reach out to him, so hopefully he reached out, and obviously they.
Mr. Bingham did, they're there, they're
Very
working on it.
disappointed.
I mean, tomorrow's gonna be a brand new day for our police department, so we'll see how it looks tomorrow. Definitely ask those questions. We'll see if it works.
Can I
Well,
ask?
I have a question, and this company, is this the company that most other police stations use?
Mr. Bingham has used them before, and he has experienced good things with them before. personally.
Who has?
Mr. Bingham,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chief Bingham.
It's funny because I hear some people say that radio, I think that's Radio Hospital, is who we're dealing, is these people, and I hear people just speak just praises about them. Then I hear other people say, oh, we had a number of problems. And then vice versa with who's the other company that, Bender. And then I hear the same thing with Bender. People just love Bender, and then some people just, so I don't know
Yeah,
how
how
it's,
do you-
it's just so difficult for some reason
Right.
but
I think the problem is, I don't think there's enough trained techs out there to work on the equipment. When the city of Toledo changed their system over, they were, oh yeah, we'll be there, we'll get it all done. Well, then a couple months went by, this had a problem, that had a problem. Well, our techs will be there tomorrow. Well, next week they're still not there, and next week they're still not there.
But Richard, they were here. I talked to him. He
But-
said it's fixed.
Yeah,
I mean, there's where my
that's not
concern.
an uncommon, that's not. My experience with another company was the same way. It doesn't mean they're all that way, but
Sure.
I do know from my experience, they didn't have enough techs to deal with all the issues.
Sure. And but I appreciate that. Then They should let us know that when we, right? I mean, how long ago did you guys approve this?
I wanna say it's
Yeah,
August.
it's been,
Right.
I mean, this has been an ongoing issue, and I appreciate what you're saying, that there's not enough text, and that, you know, that's.
That's their issue, though.
Yeah,
That's
that,
not ours.
yeah. But, and my concern is, I went over there and talked to the guy, shook his hand, told him, thank you for fixing it, and they said, it's fixed, we're good to go. And that was a week ago, and now we're still here with the same safety issue.
I talked with Bruce, he seemed confident they would get this figured out, there's still some tweaks here. We are going over to the Sheriff 2 system, which I don't fully understand this whole radio stuff, it's never been in my wheelhouse, never needed to be. But let's see how this week plays out.
So did we, but we already, so that's where we're at with the repeaters, hopefully, obviously, they might have been in today. So, was supposed to have went live when?
Tonight, maybe.
No, we were supposed to do a trial run, so that when we go, right?
There must have been some miscommunication between Panning especially and what was being discussed.
Who was all involved in that meeting? There was no miscommunication. I sat here and had a great conversation with everybody, and we said, let's go live. I think we said, what,
last
5
Tuesday or
days?
Wednesday,
Yeah,
yeah.
a week before, that way we could, if we had any issues, we could iron them out before we.
That was the understanding of myself and Brocious at the time.
Yeah, and my understanding, so
And
what
then
happened?
And then apparently it was not, I don't know, communicated well, I guess, with the sheriff's department. I know, it's really.
I wish you would've let me know, I could've made a phone call, because I'm thinking that we're already working the bugs out of this thing. I got Greg Panning's phone number in my phone, of course, it was broke. So,
There's also that, yes.
Oh my gosh, so, but I would've gotten ahold of Greg, and asked him, because that was, did you guys know, we had a meeting with everybody. It was a great meeting, and they assured us that everything would be taken care of, and we said, hey, let's go live on this thing. You know, I think a week, 5, 6 days prior to us, you know, let's run the system so that if we have any issues, we can work them out before we go live. And everybody that was sitting in this room was in agreement with that. I don't know how.
Panning at that time, apparently.
No, that
He
wasn't.
must have zoned out or something. I don't know what happened, but, you know, Meredith, I think, and the one dispatcher, I was sitting right there, I think they were on the same page with you,
They were.
me, and Brocious. Panning wasn't, and then
I wish that was
he
me.
kind of.
So let me ask you this, so our dispatches are done as of today at midnight, or because we might?
Lydia might stay over for a little bit longer. I think it was 1099 we might be looking at if we need her at all.
Right.
She offered.
Okay, because I was
and-
wondering if we shouldn't have somebody over there just to
Good
cover
idea.
in case that goes wonky, they can at least call into our dispatch directly. just
Lydia
to
graciously
make sure.
offered
Great
to
idea.
stay over a little few more hours. Hopefully she doesn't have to, but I'm glad she did offer. We'll work that out.
Can we do a 911 test call after midnight? I mean, I don't wanna call 911 and get in trouble.
Right. So that-
I mean,
Can we,
I-
can someone do that? I mean,
Everything's being tested today.
test works.
Do I need to call Greg after this meeting?
I don't believe so.
Okay, we're okay.
Yes.
I think we're gonna be okay.
I think we're gonna be okay too. If there's any issues, nothing we can't work out pretty quickly.
They was very receptive to going above and beyond for us, so hopefully they fulfill, you know, Meredith Pease, or I don't know what her married name is. And then, Deb Pease's daughter, and then the lady that, she must be a supervisor or something there, she was very receptive, she was offering like, well, we can help with this, and like above and beyond, if they need, you know, almost be our answering service for a time. We told them no, just to make sure that we got through the transition without any,
But our answer service, mostly for, well, not mostly, only for water, is basically already ready to go.
it's ready to go.
There's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts here. We've had a sheriff deputy over there, and Chris over there, Chris is over there right now, actually, most of the day. So, a lot of things have been going on, along with Railcom stuff.
The phones have been installed, the
Axon.
emergency phones, have those been
Yes, those have been
installed?
installed last week.
Good, good. Okay. All right.
So, fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly.
Great. Any questions on the dispatch?
Just if we have any issues there with the sheriff, please let me know.
Oh, of course.
Josh and I will make some phone calls up there. I got Mark's number in my phone, and I got Greg's number in my phone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
If there's no questions, we're going to move on to solicitors.
Yes, so if you turn to page 4 in the packet, I made some changes at the request of our village solicitor. I think it's a little more clearer now. We might need to define a few things. There's some redundancy there on purpose, but exceptions, just going through that 709.03, a minor under 18 acting on his or her behalf, or on behalf of a school or nonprofit organization, including civic, religious, or charitable organizations, and then a person acting on behalf of charitable nonprofit. So you can be 18 doing that, or you can just be anyone doing charitable, nonprofit, civic, or religious organization, and that's defined above. And then person engaged in political canvassing, including the distribution of political literature, advocacy for or against a candidate or ballot issue, or the circulation of petitions for political purposes. I agree with this, with what Paul wanted me to add this. We definitely want to make sure people's First Amendment rights are not infringed upon. So this is, I believe, going to be what we go forward with without any changes.
What's political canvassing?
I've done it a few times, basically going door to door and just saying, hey, vote for my candidate, or hey, sign my petition, stuff like that.
And we're saying that you can't do that.
So you can do that. It's an exception to the ban.
Just say because Haraz Gumbardi does that, right?
Roz wouldn't be allowed to come over.
Yeah, see,
We definitely don't want to make Commander Gambazi. He's a commander now. Yes, he just got promoted.
Do we have any signs that we're intending to put up to notify people that there's no soliciting?
We are working on that gradually, and Josh and I talked about it a little bit, talked with the council a little bit about that. Right now, which is what best practices, maybe put a sign up on the corporation limit signs, maybe every other street or every couple of streets put up a sign that says, hey, just a reminder, no soliciting.
Right.
And then obviously we're going to let the community know, and anyone who comes into North Baltimore, we put on notice, basically.
Well, when you notify the public, will you just let them know if somebody violates it to call up here and let us
Yes.
know? I mean, that's probably what we need to, well, I mean, they're probably just gonna say, hey, you're not allowed to do that, but just make sure that the residents know, hey, call up here and let us know so we can send an officer out.
And then we also edited the penalty. It says not more than $750, and maybe sentence to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 90 days. That was from Paul. I wanted it. I mean, it's up to, so it's a lot of flexibility there. Again. So.
$500 a time served.
Well,
I wanted 150. I mean,
is there
up
going
to
to be
so.
a kind of a grace period as far as like if it's someone's first violation, like they may not be aware that we changed the policy?
I say hit them hard, hit them fast.
Frontier is definitely aware. They film all that.
That way the word spreads. Hey, you're not getting,
Well, I get it, but especially when we don't have any signs up or anything.
I would encourage our officers to be a little lenient for the first couple of months at least, but that's up to our officer, our chief being a police state. But yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty much ready to go. It's been cleared by the village solicitor.
Right now is the time to add those things that you guys want to make sure before we adopt it.
Well, I think we need signage.
So do I.
I think we need to have plenty of signage around the village.
I don't know if it's Archbold that I was driving through. I think they have a sign there. I think it was. I know there was a village that I drove through that had a sign right there at their corporation that said no soliciting.
Sylvania's got them up there, and they say Green River ordinance.
Yeah.
So Van Buren, I know Oregon just stopped, just banned all soliciting.
Yeah, we should definitely.
Well, I think we need to have them at all points of entry
Yeah.
into North Baltimore to let you know.
Yeah, we'll work on that. I think pretty sure our third reading is March 10th for this. This is why we do 3 readings, so we can amend it and make it better and discuss it in depth. So there we go, effective April 9th, so 30 days.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Tim, anything else that you want to discuss?
For public safety?
Any questions for Tim? Or Josh? All right, we will move on to Public Works, Paula, and we're going to hand it back to Josh.
Oh, hi, everyone. Okay, so, page 5 is the actual resolution. I'm thinking about making maybe emergency, maybe on the second reading even. But what you see on page 7 through 13, 7 through 13, is basically what we received from Garmin Miller, who was the highest scored statement of qualifications that we received. We received nine qualifications, statement of qualifications from people for the RFQ I went out there for criteria architects for the Public Works building. I think it's pretty reasonable. It's $3,500 for site survey, and was $16,500 for the actual work, the criteria work. Basically, this will help us determine how much it's going to cost for the Public Works building, but also give us the option to see what it costs for not just that, but also Public Works plus fire, but also Public Works with potential expansion of fire also. They'll help us lay out what everything will cost, and we can use that number in the future to a levy on the board, on the ballot if we need to, which I don't need to do, obviously. It's not, if I want that flexibility, I want us to have that option going forward. But there will also be another RFQ number 2 for this project, which would be for a construction manager at risk, like Rudolph Livy or Lathrop, who would basically organize everything else, the actual construction of the building and administration, all that. And if we basically give them a number, if they go over that number, they're at risk. So it limits our costs. It stabilizes the max and all that. So this is all at the recommendation of Rex Huffman. I know Paula was there for the meeting. Everything he said, we're going to the T, that phasing, best I can at least. So
Who was all at that meeting? First of all, did you say you wanted to pass this as an emergency?
Maybe
Why?
not. Maybe
Why
not
would
March
you do
10th,
that?
but maybe next week. More so because I want to.
There needs to be a real emergency.
I want them to get started.
Doesn't make it an emergency, Josh.
I also want to keep that option, because we have until August to put on the ballot anything for November. I want to make sure we keep that option available. If council does not think that warrants an emergency, we will not make an emergency.
Well, it's
But-
the law that decides whether it's an emergency or not. Who was all at that meeting, Paula? Can I ask? I was.
I was, Rex Hoffman, you were there,
Ted
Jason
was there. Hunker was there. I
Hunker
believe.
was there. So was,
I was there.
yeah, but so was Tony.
Tony Schwartz.
Yeah.
Tony was there?
Yep.
Tony was there.
And then, so there was there anybody there that could design the building or look at it or?
No, we were just talking to Rex of the steps,
Yes.
like what he suggested that we do in order to start this process.
So this conversation started with just putting up a pole barn for this public works. How did we get here to where it would be like this?
A new fire department?
It's almost talking about putting it on the ballot when we've got roads and curbs that are dilapidating throughout. I mean, he's just talking
It's
about.
just an option. I want to get that option available.
I wanna know how we got here is what I'm asking.
Okay.
I mean, is that, as far as, are we serious about, is this body serious about possibly putting something on the ballot to pay for this thing when we've got roads and curbs that are falling apart? If we're gonna go after any funding, we need to go after funding for.
This is the first I've heard.
Okay, thank you. That's why I'm asking this
Right.
question.
I'm not saying
It
you
is-
should.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. I needed to know where this body
It's
is.
supposed to be a
'Cause I'm
public
confused.
works building.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
But I'm also trying to hit kill a couple birds with one stone type of thing. Our fire department takes a lot of room over there. Our police department is, well, not very adequate with the facilities. I would like for them to take over a lot of what fire has right now over there. But also, we will keep a couple bays open for fire on this side, so we have coverage on north and south side. Plus, if in the future we go to a fire district type of thing, they would also have access to State Route 18 and 75 for better access to the east, west, and north, and even south also.
Have you talked to Hunker about this?
Yes.
Okay, and he's on board with this?
well, not for a levy necessarily, but yes, we're just talking, we're just looking
Right.
into all this.
But he's okay with moving.
See, I think we should, before we move on $20,000, I think we should put all heads together and talk about the other things first.
Because all I'm hearing, Josh, is you saying, here's what I wanna see, here's what I want. I haven't heard from the department head yet. Here's what you're trying, let's make sure, there's exactly what I'm over here saying, how did we get here, who all had the conversation with, that's what, I think we need to have maybe just a meeting that we, Tim, I think that's exactly where I'm at, so I'm glad that you said that.
We've had multiple conversations over the last, year, I would say, about this and that, just going over, like, finding location, just figuring out what we're looking for, and then Rex Huffman came around and just following that advice.
We do it like Rex.
That's what we do.
Well, Rex is usually really good at finding money. Did he find us any money for this project? There's what I would ask. I mean, Rex is phenomenal at finding money, so, you know,
I will say the same as you, Mayor, I'm completely against putting anything for money on the ballot for this.
Okay.
This is not a critical infrastructure project for the village.
I think, I'm not
No, a
asking.
public works building.
Yes, I was just gonna say, that's what, yeah, so there's definitely a need for a public works building.
Yes.
Does anybody know how much it would cost? So, did we talk to Phil or anybody like that that builds these things for, was Phil out there? What'd Phil say? We talked to Phil.
He
about
just
that.
had
I wasn't
I was
out
at a reservoir that day. You were out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He done some groundwork when he was working here. I'm going back about 2 years.
Can I ask this?
Yes.
Do we need more than a pole barn to take care of your issue? Because you guys have had an issue for way too long.
I'll tell you what would work for us would be a 60 by 80 pole barn like he has with a third overhead door.
So what if, I'm just asking, I think we definitely need to have a meeting on this, right, and I'm sorry. I don't want to bore you with this. What if we oversize that a little bit? If we wanted to house like a fire truck in maybe a possible EMS? I mean, is that, you wouldn't be
Not an
opposed to
issue,
that?
no.
Is that something that would make more sense? I don't know.
Well,
Because I don't know where you guys are at on your conversations, and I apologize.
this all comes back to
Apologize.
where we are right now. The criteria architect would help determine all of these things you just talked about.
But what I'm saying, and I appreciate that, and we talked to all the department heads to say, this is what we want. That's all I'm asking.
I would say so, yes, but also, this is also a learning phase that we're trying to understand what we want.
Right, yes and no.
Pay
It's going to
$20,000.
be the answer to that, because the department head wants a pole barn.
Yes.
And is like, we are great with a pole barn, that would work for us. And Hunker's like, yeah, we could do this, you know. What fire department's not gonna be like, yeah, give me a new fire building, I'm gonna say no to that. And I just wanna go back to reminding, when we started this process, and I said, we do not want to do something that we cannot afford and still end up with nothing.
Right. Yes.
I said that right from the beginning.
Yeah, well,
And I'm so afraid that this is my nightmare happening.
well, that's why, the reason why I have the scope as public works building only, then public works with fire, and then public works with
Right,
future
but
expansion.
are we at the point that we need all of that? Because I don't know that we are. We need a public works building.
Paula, can we,
Yeah, and
can we just have maybe just a meeting on that specific, rather than try to hash this out when we got 30 things on the agenda? I would agree if we was just gonna, if you got ready to move forward with this, but if we've got some questions, rather than, I mean, it's your meeting, Drake.
Well, and I'm not even sure Phil with EMS is on board with
Right.
having anything over there.
Oh,
So
he's
I
not.
think
I
that's
never
right. So,
talked
you know,
to
I
EMS.
think you do need the
No,
department
we
heads
never
to
put
come in.
EMS over there.
Well, he just mentioned future.
EMS in the
I
fire
didn't.
department's area.
Can we just,
I agree, that you just kind of need to get everybody on
Thank you,
board so that you're looking at the same end goal.
yeah.
And I think that's gonna take more than what we can hash out here, because one, all of our department heads aren't here, and I think they need to be in that meeting.
And I'll require them to be there if that's something that, that we wanna make, if you wanna make happen, Paul.
Because the other thing we could do is we could, if there's a plan that you want to do down the road, we consider that, and we, when building this building, we look into that to go, well, we might want to make it a little bigger. so
That's what
we
he's
can-
saying right now, is that this is what that person would do.
Right, for $20,000.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, that's where I
But
say you
you're
could
always gonna
almost go out and
have-
get soft numbers, right? I mean, I'm sure somebody's built a fire station around. You could get soft numbers, right? So we know about where we're
You
at.
could, but you're not gonna get for a fire station with a public works building. Like it's gonna be apples to peaches again.
Yeah.
So if you want true solid to know where you're at, you're gonna wanna continue on the path we're on.
The village.
If that's what you want.
I don't-
But we just need a public works building.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah, I'm with you.
I think we just need to see what everybody
Yeah.
wants. That's what I think, get everybody in there.
Well, I apologize. What are we using the building for public works?
Public Works does not have a building for anything. They don't have a place to put any trucks. I mean, all their equipment is housed elsewhere or unhoused.
Okay,
So like we bought a bucket truck that's gonna sit right out there and rust.
Right.
right.
We need to get,
Are we looking at something heated or,
yeah, because it would also serve as office.
Right.
So it
So-
would be kind of a,
I just was trying to get an overview of
Yeah.
where we're going with this.
Well, part of it could be cold storage, couldn't it?
oh yeah, I
Well-
mean, but you're not gonna,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Just get it out from north. They've never had their own building, Mr. Bozak. They've never. They've always used public utilities facilities. So if we can get, public utilities also has some stuff sitting out in the weather because they're sharing. So-
I don't have a
Yeah,
problem
I know
with it.
you
I'm
don't.
just trying to see where this is
We've got a
going.
lot of expensive equipment sitting outside, and we have for a long time, and this has been an ongoing issue for, well, I was on council for
Very
16
long
years.
time.
Yes, and we could never get anybody to really pull the trigger. I think we need to pull the trigger on it. I think we should just maybe, we've got money in the general fund if we have to tap into some, and I'm not saying that that's, we need to see what the cost possibly would be, right? There's funds in the general
Right.
fund.
nice.
Just some contract with you design build where you
Mhm.
can skip some of these steps. So
Right.
it's just another
Save money.
avenue to look at.
So if we get everybody together and say, hey, here's what we would like, I mean, that's exactly right. Have somebody come in and say, hey, we're looking for somebody to come in and design, build. And Matt, you probably know some people that do that, correct? I mean, you-
I know a couple.
a couple of contractors that we can call in, and Dave might know a couple, I can look around, and Josh can look around, and we'll find some people that at least come in, and then if that doesn't work, change gears. See what we want first.
We want a public works building. And nothing's been built, and I think,
Me?
how long have you been talking about
I
public works?
appreciate that, Josh, a whole lot, but we've gone from a public works building to, I mean, I don't think they can pull the trigger, because now we're talking about going from a potential $300,000 to a multi-million-dollar project, adding all these bells and whistles, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't, I'm saying, but let's look and see. I agree, getting this public works building, and get the equipment out of there, and then if we have to oversize it, I think it's gonna be a whole lot less expensive to add 20, 30, 40 feet onto an existing pole barn as we're building it, right? If we say, okay, price it out at 80 by 60, and then say, hey, look, let's go 100 by
That's what
60, or let's go.
they would do.
Yes,
If the
Yeah, but
architect
I
would
think-
do.
so to design
The
build.
problem is they're gonna come in for $20,000 and tell us what we could pretty much push that somebody to come in and do
Just,
with a design build.
in my opinion, I
I
think we're
think that's
making.
what,
Haven't we done design, maybe we looked at design build before, and
I don't think so. Have we?
no,
Allison, we probably did.
no.
Okay, so I think we're just making it a little harder than it is.
Okay,
We're-
I'll
we're-
just
we're
call
gonna
a
fix
meeting
it.
next week.
We'll fix that.
All right. Expansion of the community garden.
Yes, Josh Long and I visited the community garden with Safa, the Fulton County Health Department, and a couple members of the garden club. They want to expand it from 35 to an additional 25, so what, 60. feet total. Basically, it covers pretty much where the grass isn't growing right now currently. It will close all that, basically. We told them no trees, and they're still looking at maybe doing raised beds or actual in-ground planting.
And you've got enough room there to do that?
Yes.
What did you, there was a tree that was in question. Does that tree have to come down, or is it?
No, I think we're fine. Just nothing in the way. We measured it out.
Okay.
Yep.
And they'll be doing that this spring?
Yes. I
Probably
believe
better
so.
soon.
Right.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions on the expansion of the community garden? Let's move on to the disc golf equipment.
And the paperwork is here, and Elaine said that if somebody wanted to come play disc golf, they are more than welcome to come.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. So it is open to the community.
Yes.
Change it from $1 to free, basically.
Awesome.
And transferred over. It's a little different than what you see right here. It's a little updated, but it's same gist.
Where are they putting that?
I'm thinking they're gonna put it behind the football field.
Right.
But I don't see them putting it in the practice field.
I don't think it's a, they said, they just didn't take off here. I mean, everybody said how exciting people would be, and I think you've seen a couple people down there periodically, but try to get somebody to come in and promote it, so I hope that they have better luck
Yeah.
with it out there, that maybe the kids can take it up or something.
Yeah, well, it's
I
gonna
hope
be
so.
like a PE thing, and then maybe when
There you go.
they
They'll
wanna
come
go
do it
to
out of
Carter
school.
Park later,
It would be great.
So, effective date, if we start first reading on March 10th, would be June 11th, we can actually get it.
Sounds good. All right. Anything else, Paula, that you need to discuss?
No.
Okay, any questions for Paula? All right, we're going to move on to public utilities. Eric? Josh?
Oh, I have one.
Yeah.
So
Josh,
AEP approached their representative. The franchise agreement is expiring soon. We can have it lapse and not do emergency. I told them we really didn't want to do emergency. It's a good point from here. But yeah, so first reading will be March 10th. If that's okay with you. Vast majority of this wording is from them. I made a few minor changes and then went through village council. So, yep.
Lead service line replacement.
Yes. Today at 2 we did our bid opening. What's the company called again? Judy Construction or Excavating? Excavating. Judy Excavating came in at the lowest of 4 bids. 134, 334. I think it was 334 approximately. But basically, they came with the lowest bid. They are all being reviewed now by Jones and Henry, and I'm hoping to have that down as emergency next Tuesday, so we can begin that process of replacing our lead lines. And I would say having lead lines is an emergency in upon itself. So.
Is that lead lines on our side of the,
Our
or
side.
is that, so,
Our side.
what about somebody that has them on their own property? I know
Currently,
there's-
right now, we done a survey, we spent about 2 years doing it.
Yep, I remember, that's why I'm asking, I don't know.
Yep, and we do not know of any that has lead lines on their side.
Okay, perfect.
There's a few galvanized, so in that bid also was to replace those if necessary to the homeowner's side, into the home.
Okay.
And at that point, they will get the water line to the home, put in a shut-off valve, and reconnect it to their existing plumbing.
Brian, was that 300,000 that I heard, was you up there?
It's out.
That's all right, that's okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere right around there.
Yeah, please don't,
Yep.
is that all on us?
Yes. Yep.
There's no money out there to help us?
There is some grant money we're working on with Cindy Brooks.
Okay, that's what-
Yes.
She already submitted the application for
Yep, so we're
WSR.
waiting, I think we're waiting for that to go through. It had to be
Yeah.
submitted by.
She submitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
The
that's-
beginning of
January.
End of January, beginning of February, right?
Something like that. She
Yeah.
submitted in January, mid-January.
So I believe, and I could be wrong,
Yeah.
I believe the number that we were gonna get for that was 250,000, somewhere right around
For a
there.
grant?
For a grant, yes, yes.
So that's what I thought, I remember we
Yes.
talked about, that there
Is
was
that,
some
are
grant.
those
money
numbers
out
right?
there.
I believe those were the numbers, because we submitted For,
You talking about the reimbursement?
we originally submitted for that grant because, she didn't have the LMI stuff in there, and then we had to, Jones and Henry called it, had to resubmit for that.
That was regarding the reimbursement for 51% loan forgiveness, whatever it is.
Yeah, so principal forgiveness is a grant.
Principal forgiveness, that's exactly right.
That's EPA's,
That's
sorry.
their grant. Principal forgiveness is
Okay.
EPA's definition of a grant.
Correct. So there's 51% of that, so whatever that calculates to
Yeah.
would be what we would get in the grant.
Perfect.
So, say it's 350,000, whatever it is, we'll get 175.
Thank you.
So it's okay if I do emergency next Tuesday?
I think we need to have, yeah, if you want to ask, is it an emergency? I would have.
Removing
Mr.
lead lines,
Hold on. Well, they've been in the ground for, I'm not saying that it's not important to get them out, but I would have Mr. Scaff define to this group what an emergency is, because it's defined by law. That's why it gets challenged.
Are we behind EPA?
I'm just-
We should, we're not behind, depending on how it goes, and however long it takes to get it. I don't believe the loans are even available to.
Let me answer that question, because what he's asking about is if we get what's defined as an emergency by Mr. Scaff, and then it falls within the realm of an emergency, I have no qualms about passing anything as an emergency. But I think we've gotten, even when I was on council, guys, we got so used to just passing things as an emergency. There's a reason why the emergency clause is there, and there's a reason why there's 3 readings. And I'm just saying, maybe we just ask Mr. Scaff, give us some clarification on it, and we'll stay within those perimeters. If there's an emergency, we can always get around it. I support emergencies.
Well, I know one of them has to be if it brings harm, if it's imminent harm. And I don't know that this is imminent harm because it's been in the ground for so long. But my question is, have the homeowners that are going to be affected by this, their yard tore up or whatever, to get that replaced, have they been notified? Do they know? They don't know who they are?
Well, technically they do, because we sent out letters, letting them know that they had a lead service line on the village side.
Okay.
That was last year. We have to send those letters out every year until we have them completely removed. So they'll be being informed again this year.
When do
Basically
those go
gonna-
out?
What's that?
What month?
By June, it'll be out by June. So we did inform all those that we did find, and then we'll send those out again.
Is there a compliance deadline, Brian?
That's right.
Yes. Technically, it's, I believe, they've changed it a couple times. I think the newest one is by December of 2027.
Okay.
They
So
need to
you've
be
got time.
completed.
And our goal is to be
Done
doing
this
this
year.
at some point this year?
Yes.
Okay.
The problem with, whether it's emergency or not, I don't know, is the deadline for us to have our loan applications in and our, but that's the only thing that I know
When is that?
that could be held up.
When is that deadline?
I don't remember.
Cindy Moore, I know Jones Henry wants to move on this pretty quickly themselves.
But I don't know what that deadline is for I thought it was, we had to have it submitted by the end of February, beginning of March, I thought. I don't remember because we had so many meetings on it, I have to go back and look in emails. And then the loan application had to be submitted, I thought, by the end of April. I think.
So then with that being said, you could have 1 or 2 readings on that passes as an emergency, so you don't lose the funding. That I would think would designate an emergency, but I think that our legal counsel gives us that, right?
And he can answer that next Tuesday, he'll be here. so
Exactly right.
We can determine that then. And even if we could get a couple readings in.
Absolutely.
Then we move forward with it. Okay, any other discussion on the lead service line replacement? Brian, do you have anything else?
I do not have anything else at this time.
Eric, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. We're going to move on to personal
Thank you,
policy
guys.
and
Thank you.
ordinance review. Thank you.
Jeff, you've been doing such a good job.
Oh, yes. Cybersecurity EI policy, I should have something in front of council for its first reading of March 10th. I'm going to shut of Intech on that. That's, we have to be in compliance by, June 30th. So we have no time to through the full 3 readings. Yeah, that's pretty much all on that one. And then part-time vacation. We did the first reading last week. I sent an email. We had a meeting, the day before or day of. So I do apologize for not getting that to you guys before we had the first reading. It is pretty straightforward. We discussed it briefly before in council. So basically, our policy manual states that no part-timers should be receiving accrued vacation. In practice, we've been doing it for probably since they've been full-time. I'm not sure exactly. But there's a couple part-timers who have accrued a good amount of it, and then when they use it, it screws up the whole schedule. And then the mayor, Phil, and I think we're on the same page that we would like to remove this practice, be in compliance with our policy manual, and fix our scheduling issue over there ASAP. I wouldn't say it's an emergency, but
if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
What he shared with us was people are part-timers sign up for their shift and then take a vacation days for the shift that they sign up for, right? They're not required. That's exactly what we thought.
Messing with Phil.
Like, right? So Phil puts the list out there. They sign up on the days they want to work, and then lo and behold, they're calling it vacation days for some of those days. And it's like, well, what do you sign? You don't have to. So that's kind of the thing. And then he's got a schedule, so they're getting paid for that as part-timers, and then we got to fill it with somebody else. So it should save us some money going forward. And we usually never.
The lump sum we'll be paying, once this is effective, we'll be paying it all out immediately. So we remove this scheduling issue. Is a little over $5,000. April did the math before she left. But I think it's worth just starting clean on this one and helping that department function better, more efficiently. I know Phil's been talking about it since before I was even here. The first thing he talked to me about was this. So I'm glad we can finally get this done for him. So 3 readings, unless the council wants emergency, which I'm not against, but we'll see how that goes. Just let me know. And then Lexipol, yes. It's not an emergency.
On the part-time?
So.
No,
I know the part-time probably not. Yes.
But Lexipol's a great thing. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a.
I have your blessing on the emergency then on that one. Okay.
No, it's not up to me. You got to stop that. It's not up to me. It doesn't fall into the realm of an emergency. So you can play games or whatever, but don't give us that, right?
Doesn't with you, Mayor. We're good. So we have a couple quotes. One you have though is for our personnel policy and procedure manual, which has not been significantly updated since 2015. If there were updates since then, we can't find it, which there probably was, but that's the problem with our record keeping.
If I could just real quick, we had a past administrator went in there just added things, right? I think we all know that, or you guys might not, but just added stuff without council's approval, right? That cannot happen. That should never happen. So that's why we got kind of a mess.
Yes. So the mayor, Mr. Bingham, and I are getting together. This may be not just a emergency for administration. We may also throw in the police, which would be a little more expensive, I will say. We might combine it into one agreement, one resolution. It's TBD. He's still reviewing, everything. He's still meeting people over there. So I wanted to at least put in front of council maybe just the personal policy manual right now, maybe do a future police one, maybe the next month, once he fully understands what he wants, because there's a couple options out there for him. So, at the very least, I think we'll have this next week. Again, I think the emergency would be we're not in compliance with ORC in many ways, and we are vulnerable to lawsuits because of that. So I think there's good reasoning for emergency. I think others would agree. I think Paul would agree.
I could say that with the police department, it's a significant amount to get this done. But what they have to offer the police department is second to none. It's amazing what Lexipol has to offer. But keep in mind, and I'd hate to say it this way, but I don't hate to say it this way, but we have. So the last time that any of our policies evidently have been updated was when Alan Bear was here, and those came from Tony Hetrick, who was the chief of police. I mean, we know Tony. So I mean, we've got a ways to go, but the really good thing is Lexipol would come in, they would get us in compliance with everything, every law, and when anything changes, I do share this with them, if anything changes, it goes directly to the officers to sign off on. So it's amazing, and the same thing with our policy. Right? Our policy, if we go that direction, I've talked to some people that said, I mean, they can't believe we don't have Lexipol.
Yes.
So, go ahead, please.
Employees would have like an app on their phone,
Yeah.
so it's send it to the employees through,
Top tier stuff.
through technology, and they could sign off on that, or read the
And
policies.
Mr. Bingham will probably speak on this more than we can, because he's used it before, and he has nothing but good to say about it. It'd be great for training our cops mostly, he says, but this will really benefit everyone. Police officers can see the policies, everything from their phone, while they're out and about, they need to, it's top tier.
How long was, does anybody know how long, I don't remember when we made Dave Lafferty chief. I wasn't on at the time. Does anybody remember? Was he chief like 5 years? Was he chief 5 years? Something like that, but, so we haven't paid for any updates. So keep in mind, this is an investment, especially with the police department, as far as, especially with the police department. It's an investment that I think that we should, it's gonna be expensive, but it's, what I'm getting at, the expense is because we're out of compliance over there. So we have paid those expenses following up, and that's why I say, I hate to say it that way, right? But this will get us where we need to be, and we shouldn't have to police this thing. They do it for us, which is fantastic.
So there's an annual cost, but the first year cost will be $18,063, but annually it'd be about $5,000.
Is that for the police department?
This is for admin.
Oh, that's for the admin. That's not for the police.
I didn't want to share with him yet until we had better numbers in front of them, because Mr. Bingham still reviewing.
But I believe that's to come in and dump everything and put the updated everything in, right?
Plus, they will update it every year, because ORC changes every year, compliance and all that. So we'll stay up to date going forward, too. Is the
So
big
you said 18,000 to bring it into compliance and 5,000?
for a personal policy manual, yes.
Right, and then 5,000
Well, 4,891.55 cents. Yes, that's right.
each year after.
But then it takes care of itself.
We're on this position again.
Yes, that's the good thing. And then to say with the police department, I don't know what that comes in at.
It's gonna be a little bit more
Yeah.
per year and all that. That's Lexipol's bread and butter, is their police department services. So
So you're thinking it's 18,000 on top of this, another 18? Is that what you're?
approximately, I'll get you better numbers. Again, we're
Yeah,
reviewing
sure.
those still. I didn't want to bring this in front of council yet. I didn't want to scare you guys with big numbers unnecessarily, at least. So, again, Mr. Bingham, it's day 2, and we're still reviewing. But he's got a lot to accomplish.
And he knows it.
Lexipol here will help him accomplish those goals.
Yes.
I can guarantee you.
That's why we brought him in, to get us where we needed to be and get that turned around.
What's next?
Any questions on personal policy and procedure? If not, we're going to move on to finance and technology. Dave?
I don't have anything.
All right.
Well, I wanted to put something on your committee.
Well, I can tell you, let's spend a little money and get us a real clock up there that works. How about we do that? Because that's enough.
What?
So get that replaced.
How was that messed up?
Let's get it
When
replaced.
did it mess up?
Well, evidently at 125.
I do have one of those from the old
School?
school.
I thought that was.
It just plugs in.
Maybe you buy it for $1.
Get it.
I'll donate it.
Put that one down.
I'm gonna take it down.
No problem.
I'm tired of it myself now.
Let's
Well,
get
you
it.
also have on here TV and council chambers. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
I want to put something on there, and I've been thinking about it for a while, but I was thinking about just putting the TV right there on that wall, in order so people can present to council a little better, and also so we can have, video call conferences where we're not all huddled in a small office over there, but outside, I hear better.
You don't like that one?
and view. That, my eyes hurt, and my neck hurts. So, that computer behind will actually be moved over to this new TV, so it'd just be, probably keep the TV up there, because why move it? But that's my thought right now. It'd be probably $1,300, maybe probably less, to be honest with you.
$1,300 for a
size?
TV?
It'll be more than the TV,
For
it'll probably
100
be
inch?
for the mounting.
86 inch.
It'll be a big one.
6
It'll be a big one.
Oh, the whole wall.
I still gotta get quotes, but I just wanted to bring it up, I know I brought it up before last year.
Quotes.
But,
What's wrong with a portable projector that you plug into a laptop?
There you go, that's a
Those
good
are like,
idea.
you can get them for $150. They don't need to be, we don't need to have high def.
We could move those pictures over possibly and then
get a
use that
screen.
wall.
we have a projector, but also, it's not, I don't think it's ever been used, to be honest with you. But the TV would also be for, again, video conferencing, so when we're on a video call with someone, we can all be at a table here instead of, again, huddled in our offices. You can't do that
We
with
do
the
that a lot.
projector. Yeah. So, but that's my thoughts on that.
When you say quote, do you just mean going to like Best
In
Buy
fact.
and doing this?
Or we do it ourselves.
Why would we hire Intech to come do this?
I mean, we can mount it ourselves with our guys, that's what we can.
Okay,
We
yeah.
talk about both options, it's not a big deal.
I'd be glad to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found the 50 TVs.
Sure.
The 50 phones, I can-
72-inch at Walmart right
I mean,
now.
there's
for
no
like
electric on that side, but, I mean,
There's
there's
a light
always a
switch
light.
right
There's
there.
gotta be electric on the
Pull
kitchen
off
side.
the
There's
red
something on that side.
Obviously, Intech can hook up that computer right there too, that shouldn't be too long for them. But it's just a thought,
It's
put it out
HDMI
there.
to HDMI.
Yeah.
Seems like council wants us to look into it a little bit more, I kinda wanna do it too, so, I'll get that done. We'll upgrade the council chambers, and if you guys also noticed that you have well, some of you have, Walla has a new one, Village Solicitor, and Matt have new, and Mr.
And I have
Bozak
one.
all have new, nameplates. Make sure we're all uniform, I'm tired of the odd ones out, so, I think you brought that before, so you're welcome.
Messing with my OCD.
Yes, mine too, actually, so we're on the same page now. Me too. So, that's all. Again, I wanted to talk about something, and that's been in my mind for a while, and if I can put something on there, I'm gonna put something on there for you.
It's over March.
All right, we're gonna move on. Do you have any questions for Josh or Dave? Economic Community Development, that'd be me. I'm gonna skip a couple here, I'll do mine and then you can do yours. How's
Sure.
that?
I need a water anyway.
We do need to set up a meeting next week. If there's a date that works for everyone, I'd like to set up a meeting to go over festival information. Got a lot to share with you. Things are moving along quite well on that. So I'd like to, we can either do it before the meeting. Yeah, we can do it Tuesday at 4:30 before the meeting, if that works with everyone.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Day of the meeting is probably the best.
Okay, then Mason, if you could put that on there for the festival committee to discuss the festival for next Tuesday at 4:30, please.
Okay.
Then, let's see, what else was there? The cemetery development, I talked to Josh about this to get the ball rolling there. Do you want to share with what you?
Yes, 1 second. Cut me off for a little bit.
But he wants a giant TV.
He's gonna want
Yeah, he wants a
it.
giant TV.
It's for you guys, not me.
Oh, now we're old.
For
Now,
efficiency.
I've been here a long time and haven't had a video call yet.
Right. I've never had.
Well, maybe that's
conference
because
calls.
you haven't had TV here
Right.
to use for video.
You better
calls.
schedule.
Where was I? Okay, so cemetery development, basically I came across like two options. I know we talked a little bit about this before. Well, definitely we have to do our due diligence, make sure we can do what we want to do, make sure there's no deed restrictions. I don't think there is. Mason and/or I will go to the court's office, find the deed, and make sure there's no issues. It's just basic due diligence type of thing.
You said in addition to the new cemetery? Yeah, it's the new
Yeah.
cemetery.
Right.
New
So
David
I
Wood.
know we added, I think it was 5 acres that we did was the most recent? I wish Josh was still here. We did it while.
It'll be about 14 acres, I think, for this development, but.
Oh, I got you. You're not saying, okay, okay.
This is for.
This is for,
housing.
okay,
Yeah.
this isn't to expand the cemetery.
No.
Okay, I
No,
guess
we're
what-
going to
yeah,
leave
cemetery
to
development.
expand.
But I do need to gauge how
Got
much
it.
we want to retain for the cemetery, so what we already have planned out, I have to make sure I, parcel cut that out, and all that kind of stuff. So, those two things need to happen for sure, and then we can gauge interest from there, or we can make it more marketable, we can do a survey, the parcel split, we can even do the rezone maybe, probably not the rezone, but we can at least do the parcel split through planning commission, and say we did so much. Again, if it's more ready to be built upon, it's more marketable in my mind. So we can go both ways, I mean.
Could you give us a cost on what we would be spending
For a
on,
survey?
on surveying it? Because
Yeah.
I feel like we shouldn't spend that money, but after talking to Josh and the Shovel Ready, I kind of agree with that. So it's like, maybe if it's only, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500 to do that, it would probably be worth it to make it more marketable. But, you know, that's up to the rest of council.
I have talked to a multifamily developer that could possibly be interested. We
Okay.
just need the details.
Yeah, but we definitely have to parcel split it eventually. The village has to parcel split it to be our property, the whole thing.
Right.
So that's be done before we do any conveyance.
So then, my question is, do we set a price on it, or do we have to put it in auction? I mean,
We can set a price on it.
We can set a price on it.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with that price?
We could, oh my gosh, we can get it appraised maybe?
Well, that's gonna cost as well. So,
Possibly.
I mean, we could also just look and see what ground is going for, and I would say probably anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 an acre, is what is reasonable right now for Wood County, but we'd have to check with that.
The only thing that I would say, not on this, the cemetery itself is, I think the last time that we increased it, I think I was on I chaired that committee, and I think we did 5 acres, is that new expansion. I'm almost positive, please don't hold me to that. But what I'm saying is, the reason why I bring that up is, I don't even know that we've used many out there yet, but I know, I think they've sold last year they sold the last plot to the old cemetery. So there will not be anybody else buying anywhere out there. I don't believe, I'm almost positive. So anybody, but, you know, I think like, Mrs. Sponsler got married out there. I'm sure the John will be married, but I'm saying there won't be any more sold out there. So everybody will be being sold out here now. So just keep that in mind, because we certainly don't want to run out of cemetery. And like, it's taken a long time for this, right? So.
Well, is there a way to look back on the records and see how many we sold over the last 30 years or something?
I'm
50
sure.
years or something like
April,
that?
Yes.
April's
There
gonna be
is.
gone for a little while, but we probably get the answer still regardless. But I mean, we just need to see, because she has her cemetery software.
Yeah.
She has like where the future plans will be, but obviously we want to keep that with the village.
And I think we need to be really careful and make sure we have discussion on how when we go to sell this, what stipulations are on that. One, it needs to go to a contract. You know, I think we should put in there that we want it developed within 2 years. Like, there needs to be a timeframe, and if it doesn't, then it reverts back to the village at the same price that we paid for it.
Yep.
So that all has to be in there.
And then the zoning stipulations also, if we want to go forward through zoning before we sell, we can dictate that this is gonna be what it is. You have to be by this zoning code, and if you try to go for a rezone, we're gonna knock it down because it's not what we want.
Right.
So we can go both ways.
Maybe it'd be better to do that ahead of time, so that all the stipulations we want in there to protect that ground and to protect our interest in it. Maybe we should do that.
That's really good language. I can tell you why, because when we sold the parking lot down there across from the Whistle Stop, we actually sold that to Mr. Frank, and then he passed away with the same stipulations that they had so many years. But his son we got it back, but we ended up losing money on it. Like, we ended up here, like, I don't remember what it was. I was mad.
Right.
I was
Well, you want to
really
put that
mad.
in
So
there, that it
it's
comes
good
back
language
to-
to say that, we're not gonna take a loss on it. We'll buy it back for the same amount of money that.
And it would actually revert back to us for the same price. It
Yes.
wouldn't be, well, it's up for sale and we have first dibs. No, it comes back to us.
Yep.
So I'm looking to get into
It'd
surveys,
be
what
like a
those costs
default,
look
it'd
like.
be like a default clause.
So yeah. Van Horn's the one I go to usually for everything, so
Mhm.
okay. I mean, it seems like a pretty simple split for the most part, so I'm gonna do that. Expensive, but who knows?
Okay.
I guess, I just wonder if it would be, and I don't really know the answer, if it'd be more marketable to the buyers if it was a little closer to maybe the center of town as opposed to where the cemetery's at. I don't know,
It would be, but we don't have the ground. I mean, it kind of went.
Yeah, I mean, I know the village don't, but
Right.
like, I just throwing it out there, like, trying to look at something privately owned.
Well, and there have been things over the years that were for sale, but no one pursued it. And that's the thing, I think where we're at now, the ground that we have, we could actually pursue someone to go, hey, are you interested in developing this? We want this developed, here's the stipulations, are you, and that's what I'm hoping to do once we get this part done, maybe reach out to some developers in the area that have done projects like this.
Or if somebody's hesitant or would back out, maybe throw that out there. Do you think it would be more appealing if it was in a different location? I'm just throwing it out there as a thought
I'm not saying
process.
it wouldn't, if there was ground available, because the infrastructure would be easier to get out there. The problem out there is, getting the infrastructure out there, there's not a whole lot out there.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a cost, and that's why I don't think we wanna really overprice the ground. We don't wanna lose, I don't know what we paid for it, but, we want a market value on it, but I don't think we want an exorbitant price on it, because there's gonna be a lot of money put into it to develop it. And the long run is that the village is gonna get money in return.
Yeah.
Because of all the, tax money and stuff. So, so that's kind of where we were thinking. I mean, yeah, if we had ground in town, that would be awesome, but.
Yeah, I realize the village down, like, I initially think like down here by the roundabout, there's
Right.
a field right on the corner, just where
Right.
my mind goes, but,
Yep.
Right.
but I don't know anything.
So keep in mind that our codified ordinances talks about people that develop, right? Like it's about them recovering, when they put the utilities in, we take ownership of those utilities, but they are allowed to recoup their costs for those utilities when people tie into them. Just our code covers all of that, so keep that in mind.
Okay. And I believe everything else is for you to discuss, Josh.
Okay, and Nathan, actually.
And
So Susan Seiler just come to me. I'm planning to have for the first reading a alley vacate ordinance for the council next Tuesday, non-emergency. It will be in regards to the west. There's an alley, unimproved alley, west of 105 North 3rd Street, where Mrs. Seiler has just recently built that pole barn in the M2 district. So I have nothing against it. She started talking to the neighbors. She's getting a signature too, but I do foresee that being in front of council next Tuesday. And then
So then where would that, because that alley that is being requested, right, it comes off of Main Street?
no.
Broadway. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it comes off Main Street, I'm almost positive it comes off Main Street, and then it wraps around back to Broadway.
Yep.
So they built here, they're asking for that, the other half would go to this house.
No. So
Oh,
here's 3rd.
so it's not this alley?
No, it's
Okay, perfect.
That's not an alley. This is actually 3rd Street.
This one?
So there's an alley. Here's the pole barn. There's an
Yeah.
alley right here.
On the property?
Well, just the
Yeah,
north of it.
it's
and
that-
then there's an alley here.
That runs along the tracks? The railroad tracks?
Runs. Like here's the tracks right here. So it's adjacent to the tracks.
So here, let me just, this is
Really
3rd Street.
good.
Yeah,
Where
this is
is
3rd
it?
Street.
Where are we at?
Yeah,
So
if you had that
we're
TV.
right by the railroad tracks on
You'd
3rd
have
Street.
Google Maps up
Right by the
there.
railroad tracks.
Thank you, Tim.
105 North.
I know, but I
Well, that was
just
there.
picture it in my head.
So there was just a
Full
lot there.
HD.
Behind
Sue-
Vandermark?
Yep, right
Okay,
behind Doc
thank you.
Vandermark's, yep. Sue Seiler built the pole barn in there.
Okay.
Which alley are they asking, so there's.
To the west. It's over here.
Jason, before that.
Unimproved. Unimproved alley. So you don't see it as an alley. You just see it as grass. But it's there.
I got
So it
you.
would be
I'll show it to you
between-
later.
No, I got you. I got you. So it's not the alley that's running from Main Street and wraps around? Gotcha, okay, yep. I know exactly what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
it's that alley right there that you got Vandermark's,
Mhm.
so you got the next two houses.
Mhm.
Yep,
And then there's an alley there.
yep.
Oh,
And it-
but there's not.
Yep, and it continues through.
It continues
Yeah.
through, because down two houses right off of, Central, right there, just jog off, right there, the old Smith house, that alley goes
Yep.
back and comes around this.
Really?
Yeah. Or it did when I
Yep,
was a
yep,
kid.
yep, you're right there, yes, that's what I'm talking about, that wraps around. the
Yeah,
bottom.
that one wraps
Yeah.
around, but the other one goes straight through, and
Yeah.
there's nothing back there.
Yeah. So there we go.
We have so many alleys.
We haven't seen another alley.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah, because they,
It's grass, right?
they don't exist, but they do.
Yes, they're all.
I have one.
The road's behind your house right there?
There's an alley that runs back there that has never been vacated,
Yeah,
and it's grass.
you guys should request it.
No.
I know back in the day, we used to have to drive the trash truck down there to pick up people had their trash out behind there. Boy, it'd get rutted up too.
We can just vacate all unimproved alleys at the same time.
Right.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
It wouldn't be, clean it up.
Take note of it, but just to get this over with.
That'd be hard to do.
We'll never stop vacating if we don't have that ability, I guess.
All right, we're gonna move on to the planning commission matters.
Yes,
I
so
agree it matters
with
to
this,
you, Josh. The way you worded
he
that.
put, I think he put matters on it, I think it's for plan commission.
Fine.
So, plan commission, like I said, we don't have to have it anytime soon. We just, we would have to have it for the parcel split for, the cemetery development. An individual also came up, he's in the middle of purchasing some lots off of Smith Street and combining them to 3 different lots. That with the planning commission first, before I can approve, the construction of a house. And then another individual came to me about doing some parcel reconfiguration also, which will also have to go to the planning commission. Plus, I want to go through planning commission for our park. We have about 70 plus parcels in our park. I want to condense that down to maybe 8. I've already talked to the auditor's office, the ones that are adjacent to each other, in between the unimproved alleys in our park, which makes no sense. We can get those done for free. I also have approached Van Horn, and if we want to, we can go that direction. We can do complete reconfiguration of the park, and make it 1 parcel. That'd be a few $1,000 bucks. It might be worth it. I'm not sure if council has an opinion on that, but at the very least, I want to do the merging in the park. We also have parcels. Like the Whistle Stop parking lot across the street. That's like 4 parcels. Let's combine that into 1. Our water tower by the park. 3 or 4 parcels, combine that into 1. It makes our lives a little easier when it comes to what they do in the
Is it
finance
possible
office.
to make them 1 parcel?
No, not the mergers. Again, the parcel reconfiguration of the park through using a surveyor
Right.
would cost some money, but I wanted to make sure I brought an option to council.
You also have the health clinic too, potential that they talked about tonight. Who would it be for the planning commission? Because that's not zoned for that.
That would be BZA.
Board of Zoning Appeals.
That
Oh,
would be
that's
BZA.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a conditional use approval that's
Gotcha.
required
That's
for
what they
the
request.
health clinic, yes. But if they want to split that off, then they'll go to the planning commission. I think it's 1 parcel out there in West Haven.
So what do you need from us on that?
Nothing right now, so make sure you guys are notified at this time. Again, we don't have anything that needs to be done right now. I'm just kind of adding it to the agenda and making sure you guys weren't caught off guard by it. Well, likely.
All right, we've got Safe Route School Grant Program.
Hi
Yeah.
everyone. I just wanted to kind of give some updates on 2 grants that we're looking at right now. Prepared some notes. Please don't think I'm uninformed. It's just easier for me to kind of keep track of where I'm at as far as explaining things. So Safe Routes to School, we'll start with that one. So this is a program the village has previously applied for funding with. The last time that happened was in 2015 to 2019. That is what funded the East Maple Street sidewalk out there. So at the time, they had prepared what's called a school travel plan. So every 5 years, that school travel plan needs to be updated in order for the village to ask for money from the Department of Transportation. And ours was outdated by a couple of years at this point. I believe it expired in, I want to say 2020 or 2021. So what I did was I worked with Mr. Delaney, the school superintendent, to get the information we needed to update that school travel plan. I did want to just update you all that I got that approved by our district coordinator for the Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Mason.
And
Sure.
now, of course. And now we can move on with applying for funding. So we do have a project in mind, which I can explain a little bit more about, but real quick, just to explain what the school travel plan was, I did kind of skip over that. It's essentially a plan that outlines the number of students who are walking and biking to our schools, demographic factors in the area, And it also identifies key infrastructure projects that we're looking to do as far as pedestrians go in the village in the future. So it's important that that travel plan gets updated, because you can't apply for funding. That project you apply for needs to be specifically identified in that plan. So that's what we did. We went through, we used a lot of feedback from the community that we gathered during last year's bike and walk audits to kind of identify a series of projects, and that's how we ended up here. So this application's due on Friday, and I am prepared to turn that in, but I did want to just kind of explain what we're looking at here. So we are looking at applying for the construction of 3 new sidewalk segments, which would be on Gillette Street, Chicago Avenue, and Wabash Avenue. So that was something we got some assistance from Colliers Engineering. They kind of drew up some cost estimates for us.
There's a,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt
Go
you,
ahead.
but there's a, so you got those 3 roads, which I think is fantastic. What about the missing sidewalk on Rudolph Road? Would we
Yes.
want to throw that in this, or is that plan being ongoing with Broadway sidewalk project?
I think that'd be a little outside of our scope. I think we're gonna leave that outside, and just get that done.
Out of safe routes to school.
Sometime.
Out of safe routes to school.
Out of safe routes to school will probably get done.
That's right.
Currently, right before, maybe after East Broadway sidewalk is done. 'Cause right now,
Perfect,
we won't
okay.
connect anywhere.
Just as long as we don't forget it.
Oh,
That's
well,
all.
yeah,
Okay.
well,
Thank you.
you're doing everything. OCD kicks in, right?
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Thanks.
Oh, no, of course, of course. So the reason we kind of looked at those 3, other than that, it was just identified in the walk and bike audits by community members and stakeholders, was because it would build right off of our last project with Safe Routes to School. So obviously, you know, this all is adjacent to Maple Street right there, the sidewalk. And so with East Broadway, you know, expansion of the sidewalk coming in, students could essentially go up any of these 3 little side streets and access the East Maple Street sidewalk. Crosswalks are planned from there, so they could cross from any of these 3 side streets over to the East Maple sidewalk on the far side of the road and head straight to the elementary. Or if they're going towards Rudolph Road and school, high school and middle school, they could do that too. So that's essentially where we're at with the project. To kind of outline how much that might cost, we did get that cost estimate in. This is a very rough figure, but the estimated cost of the project is approximately $472,000. That is with inflation, and it's also a little overestimated. We weren't sure if right-of-way was going to be an issue.
I'm sorry.
We are applying for 100% coverage of all of that funds. So ODOT could potentially cover all of it.
200, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm over here thinking. Oh my goodness.
Sidewalk
How
is
simple that is.
definitely pricey, but there's a potential that they might, you know, offer an 80-20 match. In that case, if we were to do that, the village would be looking at something closer to $94,000. The resolution for this is included in the packets. It's essentially saying that council would support the submission of an application for the grant program, as well as just saying that you have reviewed the school travel plan, which I'm happy to show you all. We have just gotten that approved by ODOT, so that's why it's not in the package just yet. But that is what the resolution would be for.
Ordinance. And
Ordinance,
it
yes.
will not
Thank you.
be emergency.
No. They do not need a signed copy of the ordinance until May 1st,
Why
and
not?
that would be assuming we actually were awarded the grant in the first place.
An emergency?
Yeah,
I mean, I can find a way to.
Hey Mason, what size, what's that? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was to say, you're saying that the children of our residents
Are not, you're right, they're harm's way, and that's not.
What size are those sidewalks?
Yes, so they slated that for 5 feet wide, and then I believe,
That's perfect, that's
Yes.
all I need to know.
I'm trying to think of the length,
It's,
but I
it's
don't
gonna
know
be
exact.
4, I'm sure it's 4 inches thick, is probably standard, right? We're just
Yeah.
regular sidewalk.
Yeah.
What I mean, so I got this on my agenda, I might as well throw it in here. Is that what we wanna do? So I think all the sidewalks that we're seeking grant funding for, other than the one out on State Route 18, is all gonna be 5 foot wide, right?
Yes.
Our ordinance is only required 4 foot. Is that something we should take a look at in Mr. Bozak's committee? I think we need to change that and make it consistent across the board, so we don't have 5 foots going into 4 foots and vice versa. And the reason why I'm asking that, we're going to?
Well, we will.
Perfect. I think we should, and here's why I'm saying that, because we now have a sidewalk assessment. If we're gonna go around and bid sidewalks, I think we need to go ahead and start bidding them for what we're gonna do in the years coming that we're gonna be bidding. So it's 5 foot in our ordinance now?
No,
Okay.
it will be.
Yeah, that's.
I plan to do a zoning rewrite with a firm eventually, hopefully into this year, but we'll start before that.
No, I think we need to do it before that, Josh.
We can still, for the most part, mandate 5.
I don't know that you can if our
Well,
ordinance says.
if we're building them.
So how does that, explain to me how
That's
that
where
works.
it's
So,
inconsistent.
say on Water Street, there's a whole lot of sidewalks that need.
Yes.
A lot of them are, I don't even think they're 4 foot. I mean,
Right.
they're a lot smaller,
Right.
so are we gonna replace the entire lane?
I think that's what we should do. If we're gonna sit, now, I don't think that we do it all at one time. I think what we should, here's my plan, and I hope that, that's what I want to talk to you guys about. Now, the road sidewalks, but I don't wanna, we gotta. So obviously, we have to go out and make sure that we're not replacing any sidewalks at this point until we remove trees that are upheaving them.
Yes.
It wouldn't make any sense, right? And we are working on that. We're working on that list. I asked Josh Long to go around and start compiling a list. We were gonna do it in the spring.
Myra's coming next week, actually.
Yeah, I'm talking about for sidewalks, and then, what I wanted to ask, so I know that we've talked about in the past that the assessment was gonna generate $60,000 a year. 60, but the legislative authority committed to $10,000 a year that they would add, which is what I would like to do is try to bid out potentially around $50,000 a year worth of sidewalks, keep $20,000 back to help with these projects that we're gonna end up having, let that accumulate, and then if we ever get to a point where like Mason just said, there might be a year that we have a $90,000 match or whatever, just utilize that whole assessment that year for that match, right? With whatever we've got building, but I think we really need to start doing some sidewalk projects, like you're talking about. It is, I mean, you guys know, when you guys drive around, it's heartbreaking to see what we've got. So, where to start, but, so to start, I've asked Josh to go around and start getting an idea of, how would you guys like to see it? Do you want to see us try to go after an area? Do you want to see us start, because that's what I think would make sense. If we took an area and just started.
And I think people will see more improvement that
Yes.
way and be more appreciative of it, to go, well, they've got this whole section done, and now they're moving on to this section.
Yes, and kind of put a plan together, so I like that, but keep in mind, there's also, we've got some sidewalks, I don't think we can go through and fix all of them at this point, but we got a lot of sidewalks that, like, you got a sidewalk and then it's missing, and then you got a sidewalk, right? So, should we, but then again, you don't want to take a 4 foot into a 5 foot into a 4 foot, right? So I think we should, in my opinion, give Josh Long some direction to say, let's pick an area and just start
The
going
thing
after
is
it.
if the only pushback I got on that is if we are, if we're doing 5 foot, and this section is horrible. I mean, there's a section I couldn't even push a baby stroller
Right.
on, and I had to go out in the street. So, you fix that section, and it butts up to something that's smaller, but the smaller is.
Almost brand new.
Right. There's where I think, okay, I'd hate to see us tear that up and waste
Right.
the money on that, rather than go somewhere else
Agreed.
that has it. So
Agreed.
how are we going to?
I don't know, that's our biggest dilemma right there.
Right.
That is our biggest dilemma. We don't want to remove good sidewalk. That's why I'm asking, it would be an easy fix if we just stayed with 4 foot, but I'm not sure we want to stay with 4 foot, right? Because of the.
The only problem I have going 5 foot is a lot of the short boulevards, right? We're not gonna be able to push it into the trees.
Right.
Oh, very good
So
point.
now we're encroaching onto people's property,
A lot, right.
right?
Agreed.
We're taking another foot out of your yard.
Yep.
I thought about that on Water
6
Street,
inches
where you're
both ways,
talking,
right.
those houses are very close to the
Right,
road.
right, and I think 5 foot, I mean, I don't think,
Yeah,
I don't
their
think
whole front
residents are
yard.
gonna be happy with 5 foot sidewalks.
So should we just stay with any existing, so anything, I would say anything in the areas that are existing, stay with the 4 foot. Anything that they're gonna build for the brand new, where there isn't any, like the Safe Routes to School, they're 5 foot.
If it's an entire block, yeah, we can go 5 foot, right?
Well, do we even have a choice on that?
Well, what I'm saying is the
I think
new,
we'd have to look at the right of way map. The right of way that tells us where the
Because the
right of
5
way.
foot, I think, is for, like, handicap, to be able to, get 2 motorized, handicap carts next to each other, or, I think that's the reason they went to 5 foot. But with the grants, it may be dictated for us.
I think it is.
But
But
here-
anywhere, yeah, anywhere there's non-existent sidewalks, and we're putting sidewalks in, we put in 5 foot.
Even if it goes down or goes into a 4 foot, we're all right with that.
Yeah, like
Right.
We're okay.
Gillette, Wabash,
We're gonna have
Chicago.
to until,
Yeah, but any interior sidewalks, we just match the size of the sidewalk, right? Because we're doing Main Street, some of
Wow.
those are 6 foot ones.
Right, 8 foot actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So we match, if, as long as it's 4 foot or above, we match the sidewalk. Because some of them sidewalks too in town, they're only
Yep.
2.5 feet, 3 foot wide.
Get them out, get them wide.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what, and guys, what we'll do is we'll try to put a plan together at least for our first phase, and then come back, and before we even do it, we'll just present it and say, because that's what I told him, I said, put something together, we'll take it to the council, we'll see what they think about it, and this is great conversation, give us some direction
Yeah.
on what we'd like to see. All right, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I have already like 4 feet permitted only when tying into existing 4-foot sidewalk segments for continuity type of thing. So I think it's a little kind of a hedge around. But like 5 foot, that's where most people are going to these days, like ADA compliance and all that. So, I mean, but a lot of our newer stuff is also probably not the best because it's not that new. But we'll look at it all. I mean, everywhere is a little different. But again, new sidewalk for the dedicated right away, especially 5 foot. I think is the best way forward. And just to zoom in on the scope of this project, it'd be the west side of Gillette, the east side of Chicago, and the east side of Wabash, from Broadway to East Maple, and then an intersection to get across the north side of East Maple. And future Safe Routes to School, I was thinking would be the other sides of those 3 streets, and then also sidewalk on the south side of East Maple that have never been done. So it kind of ties all in together. And then obviously we also have East Broadway sidewalk being put in, so it tie into that too, and eventually tie into my other plans on Poe.
Is that 5 foot where it's gonna tie in on Broadway?
Yes. I already did some measurements the other day on Broadway. Broadway, they currently most of them are 5 foot already. Not all of them, some places didn't have sidewalk, but yes. But I keep getting to look into it, but if it has to go through, I don't know if it's zoning or just dimensions, we can just put in there through an ordinance, but I think it's the latter, so that makes things a little easier for us, so that's going through planning commission and going through that whole process, longer process.
Do you have to look at, if you have a new home build where there's not a current sidewalk, to make sure that that's gonna be
Yep.
5 foot?
Yes, that would be changed in our code, so I can have a clear legal, I can mandate when people build that they have to put a 5 foot in. It just confirms.
As long as there's not, like, if we rebuild on my lot, it would have to be 4 feet, because there's 4 foot sidewalk
I
there.
was gonna say there was a new home
But
on
the new
Water
one-
Street that was built. What size sidewalk was that? Water Street,
That would have been,
Between-
Mr. Dukes, right? Mr. Dukes?
On the-
I think it was Mr. Dukes.
the south
Brian
end
Dukes, yep.
of Water Street.
Is that right, Tim?
Yeah.
Before
So
me.
my question
No.
is they put new sidewalk in there, but I really haven't paid attention to see.
No, I
if
haven't
it's-
either, drive down the street all the time.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm thinking
See
it's
what
4
size
foot,
they
I
put
don't
in.
think it's 5
Yeah,
foot.
but like my first thought goes to the new home by Kings. That is out across to where Kings
It's
live.
on Maple
Um,
there.
East Maple.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got you. yep.
like there's no sidewalk
Right,
there.
right.
So if they're like, oh, we wanna put a sidewalk in, theirs has to be 5 foot, because there is no sidewalk that it's gonna connect to.
So, which leads me to some concerns here. So, if we was to do that, it goes into a 4 foot, do we want that 5 foot to taper into a 4 foot because you don't want some overhang?
Correct.
You don't want 6
Correct.
inch and 6 inch, because that can create a, and then possibly if they come in here and tie onto that 5 foot, just go back there and make a saw cut where that taper is, right? Just take that out,
Yeah.
and then you tie on, would that
You-
make sense?
Yeah, you could make your last section of the sidewalk your
Just
taper.
taper right down,
So
that's
that way,
what-
Yeah.
and then when you
So-
tear out the 4 foot, you tear out the taper and then.
That's
tear
exactly
the 5
right,
foot
that would
off.
make, there's how we can do it uniform,
Yeah.
where it's still, I love that.
So the new home on East Broadway, I think it's 761 East Broadway, or something like that, it's on the south side, across the water plant. I did not have them put a sidewalk, I knew we're not gonna put a sidewalk
Right.
in ever. So I said, no, don't worry about that, but I need to put in the actual notes, sidewalk not mandatory,
Right.
type of thing. So this
But
depends on
they
the
could,
situation.
but they could be like, oh, no, I want a sidewalk.
I'm not gonna stop them on that problem.
Correct, but you're gonna wanna say, then it has to be a 5 foot.
Yes,
That's all I'm saying.
yes, yes. But I'll look into all this a bit more.
Okay, any other discussions on safe route or sidewalks?
Yeah, say something. The railroad tracks, I know there's sidewalks that go through over the crossings and stuff. I mean, Second Street, Tire Street, they're non-existent. They're all
I think
coming
that
up
would be
and
on
stuff,
CSX
and
when
state
you-
law requires that
And
the
they're required to
railroad
maintain.
install and upkeep their sidewalks.
And there's none there?
They maintained the crossing, very recently, last year, late last year. But I know,
I know Second
sidewalk
Street,
necessarily.
Tire Street, even on Main Street.
We do have plans of maybe doing a quiet zone there, which would actually do exactly what you're talking about, plus have additional safety measures in place, but we're a little ways away.
I can just say, when we did Main Street, the sidewalk on Main Street, there was a 4-foot section that got taken out, that was on CSX property, and they told us, do not go on our property and pour that.
There's state law requires them.
They told, do not come on our
They're
property.
federal.
So,
They don't have to-
and probably
they don't
for
have to
liability
comply with
purposes, so I
state
don't,
law.
but they would not, so I'm just saying.
No, they don't. They're federal authorities.
Yes, they are by state
Well,
law,
I
they're
know
required to put them in.
into it, they said it's
Did they
state,
put 'em in?
you can put a link, you know,
Yeah.
tell the
Bring the
sidewalk
company in.
yourself,
Okay.
put a lane against the railroad, and then.
You cannot touch railroad
We're
property
not-
at all, no.
No.
I can
It
tell
doesn't
you,
matter
we
who-
are
no.
not doing that.
Yeah, you cannot, I mean, you're telling you cannot.
Not a fight I have.
It's requirement is Ohio state law.
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
saying, they have to bring their own contract. So what I was just talking about, Mr. Woodruff, was when we did that Main Street project, there was a section right there that was ripped out, and it was sitting for a long time, right? But they ended up, we pushed them, they ended up getting a contractor. It was actually Mr. Booker that lived on Main Street, and I mean, they charged them a fortune. I couldn't believe the rate that they charged. They paid it. They said, we don't care, just get in there and get it done. Took them a while, but they ended up getting it done. We had to push them.
Now you're gonna ask them to do it, or upkeep it, or?
Is we're not willing to?
Yeah, I mean.
He's saying
I'm very happy
they're not
with
wrong.
what they did already. Late last week, like I said, they redid a lot of those crossings. It's not bumpy for vehicles, and you can cross them safer now. There's not as many potholes in the middle there.
Yeah,
They've done something.
I'm talking about the pedesters that walking the
He's
sidewalk.
talking about the sidewalks. If the sidewalks are out of compliance, we can send them a letter and say, and require them, according to state law,
You can fine them $30 a day.
to maintain them.
Per section that they don't upkeep.
to maintain them, so we can.
I know it's a big railroad and everything.
I'm working on it. Again, the quiet zones, put more liability on us off the railroad, but we would have more discretion in actually making it safer and doing what you're talking about with the sidewalk. So we can take it out of their hands via that way with coordinating with them. But that's again,
If you don't
very
measure it,
early
you only got like
whole
this much
planning.
room.
Let's go down there and take a look at it. If they're unsafe, we can get a hold of the railroad and let them know. That's our responsibility. We can do that. I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
I mean, I just know it's a law, the state says it's a law, and he's saying it's federal law and you can't touch it, but.
They're a federal entity and they do not have to comply with the laws of a city or a state. That's been my experience.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I read this.
but I have my contacts there. If anything is found to be unsafe, I can reach out to them and go that
I
route.
know that when we reached out to them about the Main Street, it took them a while, but they got it done, right? So they're not gonna hurry for anybody, and it's fine as long as they get it done if they're unsafe.
It's like that guardrail along the state there where that parking lot is.
That's their property.
You can rip that guardrail
No,
out.
we're not gonna rip that right
Or you got a 60-foot easement.
We're not doing
I'm
that.
not gonna go on the
I'll
railroad
do
property.
this.
That's not-
We're not gonna do that, Mr. Woodruff, we're talking about sidewalks.
But I do have a question though,
Put a
Chris, that
sidewalk
if we
there.
couldn't enforce any of our ordinances or anything, so what about weed control? Because they are the worst about taking care of their area for weeds, and that's our downtown.
So we actually, then we need to talk to the one that's contracting them, because we take care of the contracting for them, right?
Okay.
You remember, so we just need to reach out to
It's fine.
we just need to let them know, hey, you need to do a better job down here.
Yeah.
So please continue to communicate that, hey, we're not happy with this, we can reach out to.
We're gonna be more on it this
So
year.
we are doing the contracting for that.
Yeah, yeah.
They pay us for all the administrative and everything, they pay us for everything, so we don't do nothing for free with them, it's a very good contract, but we was actually getting taken advantage of. Josh and I reached out to him, Josh did a really good job, and with Matt's help, we come up with a really good, that was beneficial for everybody. CSX included, right? So,
Good to know.
so just let us know, and we can certainly talk to Pine Line, and we'll tell them to make sure they're doing their due diligence. There's a contract with the scope of work that they're required to do.
Okay. Now, how far down does that extend?
It goes from Second Street, from Fraser. From Fraser Street, they're just supposed to spray.
Spray twice.
I gotta be careful because I
mow
don't-
certain areas.
Yeah, mow certain areas and spray certain areas.
From Fraser to what?
From Fraser to the elevator.
Okay.
To the elevator. Keep in mind though, the 12 foot off of the rails, we're not allowed to have anybody going. They don't want no contractor, and they come through and spray a couple times a year right off the train.
Yeah.
They said. And
I mow it once a week.
you do?
Yeah, right next to my house.
So 12
I know I
foot,
was that.
from the rail, 12 foot out, they don't, our contractor is not taking
Not
that.
allowed.
Spray all
They
the
spray.
tracks.
Yeah, they said do not.
Well, I guess if that gets bad, then we just reach out to them.
They also put more
Spray
rock
them.
down, they put more rock down last year,
Yeah,
so there's less to mow now. That little, the area between that parking lot that's been closed off recently and our viewing station, I'm not sure what you call it exactly, they put more rocks down, so, yeah, less to mow, that was at my my request. I'll take blame if anyone's mad about that.
Good to know.
I kinda like the rock look anyways.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the last item, the CDBG downtown revitalization.
Back up.
Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to pass out just a quick sheet here. quickly. These will be added to the online link for the packets. That way everyone in the public can also view it. I was just waiting on an updated information sheet on the grant. Okay. So this is another grant we are looking at. I do want to stress that we are in the very, very early stages with this one.
Can I?
Yeah, of
I'm
course,
sorry.
of course.
This isn't for us though, this is for downtown business owners, right?
Yes.
Or is this one for, this
The
is
other
not the
grant.
villages, this is for downtown building owners to help, okay, I'm sorry.
No, absolutely, yeah, that is a good
I don't want them
clarification.
to think that this is something we're going after for ourselves.
No, this would not directly benefit the village's personal, I'm trying to think, right word here, personal property. This would be for businesses and buildings downtown. We would be acting as the intermediary in this case. We would disperse funds. So I can kind of explain a little bit about the grant real quick and kind of explain where we're at with it. But we are very, very early on with this. So this was something that the mayor brought to my attention. He had spoken with the consultant firm Kleinfelder last year about it.
Yep.
And so Josh and I met with them, was that mid-January, late January, I want to say? And
It was cold.
Yeah, it was very cold still. And they kind of walked us through what the requirements of the program would be, and they explained how North Baltimore might be able to get some funds to improve some of our downtown buildings. So I'll let you kind of look through that sheet, but essentially this funding comes from Housing and Urban Development, and it filters down through a couple state offices who would then, award the grants to local communities such as North Baltimore. We could receive up to $250,000, and that could be allocated to up to 3 downtown buildings for facade or code improvements. So there's a full list on the back of that sheet. I'm hoping that was double-sided. Okay, I will get to the other side.
Roofing along that, roofing, right,
Yes.
does that fall under code?
Roofing would
You
definitely
got the
fall into
list?
it.
Yeah, that's on the back here.
Oh.
HVAC upgrades, roofs, ADA access.
It was just his.
So, that's available every year, correct?
I believe so.
Yes, it's available every year. So, they came in and gave us a good presentation from what we didn't take advantage of them. I reached out to them again this year as I'm looking at our downtown building saying, guys, and my belief is, and my hope is that, maybe they just, I hope that our downtown business owners or property owners just aren't neglecting. I hope that they're just needing maybe a hand up, and this could be the hand up to at least get them started, get the next one started. And I believe there's $250,000 every year available. I'm almost positive. That doesn't mean that we receive it. We had lengthy discussion. What there is I'm going to ask that we earmark, we used to do this for blighted houses, I'm gonna ask that we earmark $15,000 a year, it helps with what costs are those? It's for economic, community, and economic and community development, we used to put $15,000 back a year to help with blighted houses. Now I'm just asking that we take a look at possibly helping with some of the, it's up to $15,000, I believe, from Kleinfelder or whoever the engineer would be to do all whatever it is that they do, like all the paperwork, everything. So,
Other administrative costs?
yeah, that's it. Like everything that has to do with this, it's up to $15,000. There's no matching grants to the property owner, but anything that they put in would help them to be more attractive, I guess. So, but there is up to $15,000 of. So do we want to? I'm asking the body to earmark $15,000 to help our downtown to start. I mean, I think it's a small price if we can, if every year we can put $15,000 back to help these administrative costs to get our downtown buildings. I mean, guys, they're bad.
So would this be for basically exterior?
It's for anything. The list is there. There's a lot of things that don't apply. You can't. I don't think it applies to paint.
No cosmetic.
No cosmetic, no carpet, no. It's got to be like if somebody needed help with like plumbing, like code stuff that you see, electrical, a roof, the facade out front. They actually showed us some pictures of some communities that's taken advantage of this, and what they've gone from here to here is absolutely, it's fantastic.
So are we looking at, now, how do we go about, if we're awarded these grants, how do we go about distributing them? Are they for the, say, the south side of the tracks? Are we going to concentrate on that area first, or?
So I went out and so as soon as I was made aware of this last year, I was pretty excited about it. Josh and I took a walk down Main Street. I think we went to Whistle Stop or something. It was actually one of the nice days when I was laid off. We was walking back and we just started stopping and talking to a bunch of property owners. I mean, a lot of them. It was amazing. And look, when we were talking to Mr. Benjamin, he said, "No, I'm not interested in that." And I was like, "Oh my goodness," for his own reasons, right? He said, "I'm not interested." Talked to some other people. They said, "Yeah, we could be interested in that." I think it's a matter of kind of just getting it out to the public. I went and asked 3 business owners if they would be interested in coming up and sitting down and finding out about it. And I think you've met with 2 of them so far?
We have met with 2 of the 3, and I'm scheduling the 3rd applicant, hopefully when I get a call back.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know, there's a timeline that you gotta kinda follow. They said it's a slow process, right? So, if you got an emergency, probably need to take care of the emergency, don't wait on this. Like you said, there's some, it's not just, but it can be up to 3 businesses. What they did share is if you get those 3 businesses, make sure that, or it could even be just for 1 business, right? Make sure that they utilize the whole $250,000. It's very important that they have enough work to, if you go for it, you don't want to go for partial, you want to go for it all. So if you got 1 business that can't utilize all that, you want to go out and try to find another business. Now, this is kind of just something that we just started this year to see, how it would go, to see if there was even any interest. So I'm not sure where this grows to. Plus, we needed to come to the council and say, look, are we willing to invest a little bit of money in our downtown if this thing takes off, to start beautifying it, hopefully, and get the businesses on board. So it's kind of, it's just in the beginning phases of how we like, and then we'll tailor it to whatever we think is the right way to go about it once we see if there's, I think it's a matter of getting it started, letting the other building owners see that, hey, and then say, hey, this is available every year. I don't know that we receive it every year, but they made it sound like every year. Is that not right? When we talked to Lauren from Cleveland, she almost made it sound available every year. We have to go after it, but I mean, if you guys look at the old Limbo, I drove by there. It scares me. I mean,
our building needs help.
Yes, our downtown needs some help. So, That was kind of the thing behind this, so.
If we aren't willing to invest in our downtown, I don't think the residents or the owners of those buildings.
Gee, that's exactly how I thought about it. That's why I got so excited about this, is if we could throw a little bit of money out there to help give them that leg up, and it's gonna beautify downtown, and I would hope that we would support that. So, go, I'm sorry, Mason,
No,
please.
no, those were really, really good points. Okay, so really all that's left to say at this point about the grant, since we're so early on, is as we're meeting with these downtown business owners that Mayor Patterson has spoken with, we're just trying to get a general scope of what improvements they're hoping to make with their buildings. Right now we've heard things like roofs and windows, so very, very applicable things for this grant. The next step is preparing the pre-application with Kleinfelder. So what they had said was that they would assist the village in preparing the pre-application at no cost. And essentially it is a very, very quick process as far as getting the actual thing written. But like Mayor Patterson said, it will be a long time likely until we actually hear back from the state and federal government. But the pre-application is 2 pages, I believe, and they are going to assist us with writing that once we get information from the downtown business owners. Other than that, that is about where we're at with the CDBG grant. I'm currently looking at others, and as a side note, if you ever have any concerns or you see any other grants out there that you want to discuss with me, always feel free. I am looking at other ones, but these are just the 2 that are kind of top of the docket right now. So.
Thanks, Mason.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for committee or Josh?
I just want to put out there, if you guys know of anybody, any downtown business owners that could be interested, please send them to give. I mean, I know quite a bit about this just because of that, but Mason's kind of I'll give it to Mason to take the lead on it, and I think he'll do a good job. He's got some really good contacts. So if you hear of anybody that might be interested, please, if we could even start like a list, right? I mean, depending on the needs. We could say, maybe, this year, we've got some applicants, next year. 'Cause this is something I really want to push, and I think if we utilize this every year and really take advantage of this, I think it can really help our downtown.
Well, you said it's a long process, like 6 months or a year, or what are we looking at?
All she said is it's not a quick turnaround, because of the funding, something about the funding, when the fundings come in, and then when it's awarded grant.
And if they do it every year, I would
They
think
do.
it'd have to be within that lot of.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think it's like 2 years or anything. I know it's not anything like that. It's
Like you
just-
apply in 26 and probably get the funds in 27?
It might be, yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So this is all, did you know anything about that? Mason?
Yes, she said that the pre-application approval times kind of vary wildly. She said she's seen some of them approved as soon as a few months. She kind of said that, it caps at about a year. So I did kind of, as we've been meeting with these business owners, I've been saying, hey, this is not anything that's suitable for emergency repairs. This is a very lengthy process. So.
Yeah. But I think, like I said, once we get this thing up and going with the support of this administration, we can, we'll tailor it to whatever hopefully meets the needs for downtown building owners.
Hopefully we get my downtown master plan and hopefully at least figure it out late this year, maybe early next year, as part of a grant I'm looking at applying for in April through, I think it's called a housing
technical assistance program.
Metamora got $78,000 from it last year. I want to piggyback and do that same grant for a downtown master plan, which would be a part of our overall comp plan for the village, and then use that same consultant to go after a zoning rewrite. Because, well, it's been over 10 years now for that. So, hoping that we get that money and start that process. Again, late this year is kind of the goal.
Okay, we are going to move on because Josh, I'm sure you've got other things to share with us.
I do actually. Thanks for asking.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be on vacation next Wednesday and Friday. I'll be in Vegas. I'll still be a little available. Don't call me though, unless you really need to.
Wednesday and Friday, or Wednesday through Friday?
Wednesday through Friday. Wednesday to Sunday, technically.
All right. I thought you said Wednesday and
That's
Friday.
what I thought you said, too.
I know, and I was like, you working Thursday?
I'll be in the Grand Canyon Thursday, that's why.
Okay, I got you.
No.
Have a good time.
Text, email, try not to call, please.
If you need somewhere to put your winnings, I've got a bank account.
Yeah.
We're gonna be all right without you, Josh, for a little while. We'll be fine.
I hope so. Mason, I won't take care of it.
Call me if you need anything. I do actually have a phone working right now.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
First day back to work, I smashed it.
Also, it's in your mailboxes, the Wood County Economic Development, annual dinner is, when is
Very
it
good.
at?
It was the 16th.
April 16th, yes. Thursday, April 16th, Hilton Garden Inn, 6 to 9 it looks like. I'm thinking we do a $400 table for 8. I know Mr. Richmond already said yes through his RCP on that.
I will be in
Peter.
Texas, so I won't be able to go.
It's a very good opportunity to meet people.
Brian's thinking about going. I'll be there. Mason will be there.
If you get 8 people, I don't need to go. If you need to fill a seat, I could probably make sure that I go. So make sure you offer everybody else first.
Mr. Bingham I invited. I think he would want to go. He's not already invited because of being the mayor of the White House. But is anyone else interested in going?
Yeah, I can go that day.
It's a very good experience. You meet a lot of people.
I
was last year. It was really fun.
Yeah. What was that, Paula?
I said, let me check my calendar.
Okay. Tim?
I do need to check.
Okay.
There's a lot going on.
There is.
What day is that, Josh?
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah, but what day? It was in April, right?
April 16th. Thursday, April 16th, from 6 to 9. Dinner provided. Hilton Garden Inn and Levy's Commons. Where it was
Yep.
last year.
What else you got?
Just those 2 things.
All right,
We'll find
any
out.
questions for Josh? We will move on to fiscal officer.
Yeah, I had an attachment there with some of my details. We recently met with the Ohio Plan, their be for property and casualty insurance, be a competitor to PEP. I submitted the required, or the things they requested from us, so we're waiting to hear back, a cost from them. One exciting thing they had to offer was, for police, they have a real nice program when it comes to Lexipol. They offer a 50% discount on your insurance premium of what you pay for Lexipol. That's the first year. It goes 50%, 30% the second year, and 20% the third year. But like I said, we're waiting to get an estimate back from them to look more into that option. Checked around if there's any other options. They're really the only players in our area. Several entities have been switching to Ohio Plan in the last few years that I know of in Northwest Ohio due to cost. Have had some reorganization in the last few years, and through that, everybody says that that's what's driving their cost up compared to Ohio Plan. Going down to number 2, talked about earlier, we talked about like Public Works or fire station. Number 1, as a finance officer, first of all, I prefer not to borrow any money. That's kind of like what most of us would be in our personal lives. There's some options on there that I've looked into. It just kind of shows you what an interest rate would be if we were to borrow money. You're basically looking around 4.5% right now. Interest is trending downward, but not real rapidly. Voter issued debt's not real popular. There's other ways to take essentially loans without going to the voters. I talked to Huntington in the last couple of days. They have a program. Most of them involve selling bonds. And it really gets kind of complex, but there's programs that they have for entities. In simple terms, right now the rate's around 4.5%. If we ever get to the point where we're looking for financing.
When you say that, Matt, when you say looking for finances, we can borrow money without going to the, so how do we repay that?
You repay it from your current revenue.
Right.
Even voter issued debt don't mean that you are creating a new source of revenue necessarily. I mean, it's through like property tax. That rate, it's selling bonds, but you would fund it through like a property tax if you go to the voters. If you choose not to go to the voters, like, I'll speak for like my local high schools, New Riggle. When your debt gets to a certain amount, you can't just sell bonds, that would be repaid by your current revenue, like.
Right.
You're not bringing in additional revenue.
Right.
If your debt gets above a certain level, they have a program called COPS, Certificate of Participation. That's when I say it gets complex, like
Sure.
there's graphs and stuff. I don't think we need to get at that
No,
in depth
please
right
don't.
now. But they don't, you can incur debt without going to the voters, but you're not bringing in a new source of revenue
Right,
to pay it.
that's.
So,
What
that's-
we've always tried to do in the past is try, either assessment or income tax, right? Because then we are generating new revenue in order to pay back any debt that we take on.
naturally, we're continuing to look for grants. I mean, I
Absolutely.
emailed Mason and Josh here and there. They're kind of a long shot, but you still gotta keep, trying, keep beating on the door in that sense. Any questions on any of that so far? On maybe a more, brighter note, or a little more exciting to me, received some checks here in the last few days. I've been working on it for a couple months. You can be federally tax exempt for fuel for the federal tax, but you still have to pay it for Ohio. So I was able, it's $758, so, it may not sound like a lot, but you had to go through a process.
For TV.
Yeah, or something else. But that's for like mowers, backhoes, street sweepers. So they're using fuel and you're paying tax, but you're not. That's the rationale behind it. So, like I said, it's one of them, like, you're not sure if they want more, and all of a sudden the check shows up. So like, you're like, okay, I guess they have enough information.
So because we're tax exempt, they almost reimburse us for the tax that we pay on that. Is that what?
Yeah, well,
Is that?
we're tax exempt, but you still have to pay fuel tax to the state of Ohio. Federally, you do not. And then why, I've never understood why the law is the way it is.
Okay.
But that's, so then you're saying you're basically not driving any of this equipment on the road.
Right on. Okay.
The other exciting news was the armored vest ring. I think Mr. Miller proposed that. It's been a long time ago. I know Brocious and Roberts were tired of me over the last several months about, finding out where we were at, and then we received a check from the state of Ohio. I believe that was actually last Friday. That was a little over $26,000.
Nice.
So, I mean, all the kudos goes to them, and honest, because they had to just figure out where things were at, and everybody knows that they've been busy over there. So, that's I guess I like to hear the follow through essentially. So everything, it's good to talk about big ideas, but follow through where it matters. So. I guess my last thing was, being we're talking about loans and money, this is a breakdown for the loans that we currently have. All of our loans are either water or sewer, and this will show you how much we're paying per year. I got plenty of copies, so just tell me when to pass it out. But I wasn't really going to get in depth on it tonight, unless you want to. That's why you can take it home and study it. Unless you want to discuss it more, it shows you in gray what we're paying per year, 2026 payments. That's our loan payments. In green shows you basically our debt. That's as of 1/1/26. Now we've paid some of it. I think it's 6 different payments. You're in my office, I'll show you. I got all the purchase orders pinned up because it's always they're all at different times of the year. Some of them are automatic withdrawal, some of them you have to initiate. So, naturally, you never want to be late. But, go ahead.
Matt, am I to understand that, the sewer separation project, what's the 17,000? Is that what we pay per month, 98,000 per year, and then the phase 2 is 98,000 per year. Is that what we owe? That's all we owe on that?
Yeah.
We only owe so that was a $15 million project. To pay that off, we only owe 116,000, 115,000.
Yeah, I think you're looking at phase 1 and phase 2, like
I
the fourth
am.
and fifth lines.
Oh, there we go. I gotta follow down here. Yeah, there we go. There's the reality. Okay, I apologize. I stopped there as soon as I seen phase. Whew, okay, yep, I got it.
Shows you
Still
that,
got $12 million
shows you really everything. I mean, if I forgot anything, you can let me know.
No.
Shows you interest rate, lender, payments.
We owe more than the loan toward the
Yeah.
bottom part down there, because of the interest.
I mean, yeah, we've really.
Luckily, it's 2.75%, could be worse.
And we're gonna be adding the lead line.
Yeah.
This list is probably gonna grow before it shrinks. The sludge dewatering is last payment's 2027. All the others are, as you can see the years on them still.
Are we just making the minimum payment right now on all of these?
Yeah. With the interest rate where it's at, I mean, the sludge dewatering's 4.42%.
Right, that's what I was wondering if we could.
I never even looked to see if there was any kind of like prepayment penalty. I should look, I mean, I can, I can be honest, I never really even.
Some of these are so far out, it's not worth looking at this point, but that one's the only one that's.
Well, all the others.
Yeah.
The other ones' interests are pretty low.
Yeah, all the others,
That's
the
what I was
interest
looking
rates
at.
are low,
Let's
so.
concentrate on the 4.42% and maybe knock that one out a little sooner if we could have.
I can, talk to Brian about it, and it's his department, see, his opinion. Look, I'd have to read into it more, see if there's any restrictions,
So I'm just a little disappointed in this before your time, Matt, and I'll tell you why, because the way that we did the new water line and the new water tower was kind of my deal. When I shared finance, and I don't want to beat this up too much, but just kind of let council know, we had over $300,000 worth of debt coming off by whatever year, right? There was 3 different loans that we had, they all came off. I said, hey, rather than, so this was back when Chris was still our finance officer. Went to the council, we talked to him, we said, look, we got $300,000 worth of debt, or over $300,000 coming off here. Let's put that money back to work. So that's what, I think you guys ended up doing it when I was off council, right? When you guys pulled the trigger on this. But Tony said, I remember Tony said you could borrow off that, for 30 years, you could borrow like $7 million, right? And it would cover it. But I see here, we're at $8 million, almost $9 million. How did we get, and I understand the interest rates, but why would we, well, I'm just a little, $7 million was supposed to be our cap, and here we're at almost $9 million, which puts a damper on our water. And it's too late to do anything about it. But I just know the discussions that I was involved in, it was, here's what we got, here's the loan, here's the percentage, here's what we can borrow, that we're putting that money back to work and no more. I'm just a little disappointed now that I'm seeing the actual numbers. But no, it's too late to do anything about it now. I just wish, obviously, we would have had more conversation. Boy, oh boy. All right, thank you, Matt. That's a fantastic spreadsheet. Very educational.
That's all I.
Depressing, but educational.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no questions for Matt, we're going to move on. Mayor?
Thank you. The only thing, I got a couple of things here real quick. Just one real quick line through. So when Mr. Bozak took his seat, he went to abstain from a vote. I said, hey, we need to take a vote on that. And so there's some confusion. I'll tell you why. Because I know that in the past we had taken a vote when I was on the council. If you look at our codified ordinances, it says that we are required to vote. I think I only say that is because we need to change that language. It's not required to do so. Just because I knew that
Like you're allowed to abstain?
yes, you can.
Well, see,
Our codified ordinance says that you have to get the approval by vote from the rest of the legislative authority.
To
That's what our
abstain?
codified- Yep. to
Okay,
the state.
because I just remember, and maybe you recall, we had done this before you were mayor.
Sure, sure.
And it came up, and somebody wanted to abstain, and they said, and I believe our attorney from Toledo was the one that told us this, said that if you do, you have to go to Columbus for some reason or other. I'm just saying.
Really?
Yes.
So, yeah,
And so we need to get clarification
I
on that,
agree.
because I don't know if that was correct, or,
Yeah, so.
you know, I don't know.
And I'm sure Mr. Scapp will give us the absolute right, and I think that we need, I'm just saying, we need to get our codified ordinance to reflect that. I know what our codified ordinance says, because I looked it up, so I knew that I wasn't losing my mind, but I wouldn't go.
Show me what you're looking at later.
Yeah, I will. I'll show you. So I just wanted to, yeah, we need to change that. And then the only other thing I had, the youth baseball parade, so when we was growing up, I don't know if you remember, Tim, when we played, and Dave, I'm sure you remember, I think you played for the Tigers?
Just a catch for you, bud.
Yeah, but that was when we played on the athletics together.
Yeah.
I mean, when we was younger, remember when we used to do the parades down Main Street, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they're asking to bring that back, to start bringing the excitement to the opening. But what do they need to do in order to make that happen? Just, are you guys okay with them doing, I think it's May, that's the opening day. What do we need to
We
do?
just need to close streets or whatever,
Yep,
you know, we
just
just do
for-
the technical stuff.
I mean, do they have to fill out the all events permit, or what do we need to do?
Well, I do need to do that, but that's very simple to do, and just say what parade, because we need to know what parade routes
route.
they're going by.
Yeah, it's just straight down Main Street, whatever, all right, so,
It's been closed.
yeah, so they don't have no insurance and all that stuff, I'm just letting you guys know that.
They,
so.
I don't think they need it.
Yeah, so just let them know, fill that out, whatever parts pertain to them, what they need closed down, and then submit it, and we'll approve it, okay?
Yes.
That's all I needed to know, that's all that I had.
Basically, they did have insurance, at least, obviously, the main organization is
The
insurance.
baseball? I
Hey,
know
I'm
you
not-
asked them.
I'm
I'm not talking about the festival organization, I'm talking about the baseball organization, the youth league.
Yeah, I would think the youth league had insurance.
I didn't ask them that, I mean,
I might be confused about something.
but we're paying for liability for that. We're already paying for liability, the village of North Baltimore is already paying for liability, we talked about that with Ohio. So just have them fill that out,
Yeah,
submit it, what parts pertain to them.
correct.
Yes.
Okay, I will call them and let them know, thank you very much, that's all I have, any questions for me? Wonderful.
All right, if no one else has anything, we will adjourn this meeting.
10:47,